It's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up, Scott Wilkinson with the best TV buy of the year.
And I'm Micah Sargent. And to talk about a throwback, someone actually asks us, how can I get those ringtones I bought back on my iPhone?
What? Ringtones you bought? Then Johnny Jett talks about the busiest travel day of the year. Is it too late to buy tickets? All that's coming up next on Ask the Tech Guys.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Episode 1999, recorded Sunday, November 5th, 2023. He's so fluffy, I could die. Ask the Tech Guys is brought to you by Traceroute. Traceroute launches with an in-depth look at AI. Love it, hate it, or fear it. It's time for some couples counseling for this relationship. Don't miss this two-part special and other episodes that find the humanity in the hardware on their new season on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And by FastMail. Reclaim your privacy, boost productivity, and make email yours with FastMail. Try it now free for 30 days at fastmail.com/twit. And by Discourse, the online home for your community. Discourse makes it easy to have meaningful conversations and collaborate anytime, anywhere. Visit discourse.org/twit to get 1 month free on all self-serve plans. Listeners of this program get an ad-free version if they're members of Club Twit. $7 a month gives you ad-free versions of all of our shows, plus membership in the Club Twit Discord, a great clubhouse for Twit listeners. And finally, the Twit Plus feed with shows like Stacy's Book Club, The Untitled Linux Show, The Giz Fizz, and more. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. And thanks for your support. Well, hey, how are you today? It's good to see you. I'm Leo Laporte. Who is this over here, though?
Hello, I'm Micah Sargent.
Are you... They always say dress for the job you want, not the one you've got. Are you looking to be a banker?
Either a banker or a casino boss.
No. You're much too well dressed for a pit boss.
Well, thank you.
I think you're more like high finance.
Okay.
Especially with the English rounded collar.
Oh, you noticed.
The red tie.
Thank you.
I think you're going all in.
Yeah, next it'll be cufflinks. That's the addition I need to make. Some pearl cufflinks.
You didn't even button your
Not
cuffs.
on the left because the watch is too big.
The watch is too big. This
the
is
right one's buttoned,
something
the
we need
left
to
one's
complain
not.
about the Apple Watch Ultra. It's too damn big. You can't get your sleeves over it. This shirt's got ample cuffs. They must have known.
That's nice.
But many of my shirts, yeah. Well, what I do is end up buttoning above the watch, which really looks...
I know, and I hate that. So that's why I just keep it unbuttoned.
Yeah, you're smart. So today we've got Johnny Jett. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Jett at 1.
At 1.
Scott Wilkinson at 12, talking about some potential Black Friday deals.
And Santa Claus will be tuning in about half an hour.
Indeed.
Black Friday deals. And I think Johnny Jett's going to be talking about Thanksgiving travel. It's the busiest travel day of the year. You don't want to be... Are you going to St. Joe for Thanksgiving?
No.
I'm thinking maybe of driving to Sonoma for Thanksgiving. I don't know. That'll be my big trip over the hill. Today in the news, Apple had an event on Tuesday.
That's right.
Exactly. I know. It seems like it's so far in the past.
It does seem so long ago.
Exactly 30 minutes long.
It was so short.
It was so short. I think in the there's always like the bubble around Apple's events. They call it the reality distortion field, where you're going, must buy. Apple's events are very well designed for your lizard mind. Mm-hmm. Must buy all the things. But then the truth starts to emerge. It's still too early. Reviewers will be embargoed probably till Wednesday. I think that's typical, right? And although mine's coming Tuesday, so maybe not.
Oh, then no. You'll probably see on Monday.
Yeah, maybe
tomorrow,
soon the reviews will start coming out. And then people will start getting them, both reviewers and real people, and benchmarking and so forth. Some benchmarks have already leaked into Geekbench. And one thing seems to be clear, and it was even actually kind of clear from the numbers Apple showed, is that so they've got a new M3 chip, which is based on a new 3 nanometer process. We talk about we used to talk about the process in terms of the size of the kind of the wires. And in the early days, I mean, we were talking, the wires were millimeters, and then what comes after millimeters? Megameter, what's the opposite of mega? 1/1,000,000th of a meter. And then nano, which is a billionth of a meter. They're 3 billionths of a meter. We're actually going to be going to the next level pretty soon. But we're no longer talking about the wires. It's kind of more like 3 nanometer equivalent. Mm-hmm. So, but what in a sense, what we're saying is you can get a lot more on the same size chip. In fact, Apple's top of the line M3 has 9 billion transistors plus on that one little chip. So that's mind-boggling, right? That's incredible. Billion with a B. But what we're also seeing is that there are differences even within the 3 nanometer process. The company that makes these chips for Apple, TSMC, and Apple, by the way, bought the entire production for the year. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll take it all. No one else can have any. So it won't even be till next year you'll start to see 3 nanometer chips. There are 3 nanometer chips in the new iPhone 15 Pros. So we already have like the first version of those chips. And I was a little dismayed because the numbers for these new iPhones are it's about 10% faster than the previous year. I would expect with this new process more. And in fact, that's probably what we're going to see with the M3, the base model.
Right. Yes.
Here's the surprise. The M3 Pro, Apple actually slowed down memory bandwidth. The benchmarks that are coming out of Geekbench now show that the M3 Pro is about the same speed as an M2 Max. So it's a little faster than the M2 Pro, but not a huge amount. It's a little disappointing. And it turns out that it's the M3 Max is the one where all of the speed improvements are. And when Apple says scary fast, they're not really talking about the M3 or the M3 Pro.
It's really the Max.
It's the Max, which is very pricey. Trust me, I know. I don't know. I don't know why I did this. I was in the bubble.
Lizard brain.
But I did buy a Max, but partly because I want to compare it, because my wife has an M2 Max. I have an M1 Max in my studio. So I want to do our own tests to really see. And think about benchmarks, they don't tell you anything about performance because you're not.
Exactly, yes. It's a very specific set of tests that is all about getting those numbers versus I'm not sitting there running these tests every day. How does it work when I'm actually trying to use it in different applications, in different ways that matter, so to speak?
Yeah. So, and Apple really is, the road is forking between Apple and Intel and AMD by extension, because they're really pushing this power envelope. They want to get more power for less juice. They want to get more speed for less power, however you want to phrase it. And they're really doing a lot more tweaking. For instance, they built in now a decoder for a new video format that you're going to start to see on Apple TV, but also on Netflix and other places. Mm-hmm. Not encoder, just decoder. They're starting to do things in addition to these chips. It's very interesting. So I think the main reason I'm bringing this up is if you're going to buy a new MacBook Pro, and you may be tempted as I was, your lizard brain may be all excited, it might be worth holding off.
Until?
Well, I'd like to see more benchmarks, and maybe even until you can go play with it. And one thing about Apple, their return policy is pretty good. So you might want to. I mean, I'm certainly willing to return mine if it's not.
Maybe that's if you're going from M2. If you're doing it for that,
you probably don't want to go from M2.
Right.
M1, yes, maybe, and certainly from Intel.
Because otherwise, I guess you're waiting until M4.
I don't know what you're waiting for. I guess what I'm saying is I was really excited about the potential for going to this new process. Up to now, it's been 5 nanometers. That there was the smaller you get it, the more normally in the way of things. There was a great book by a guy named George Gilder called Microcosm, in which he makes this point I think it was more than a decade ago, that silicon is different from everything else. And everything else, you get improvements by more. Bigger, faster, better. Silicon, the smaller it gets, the more efficient, the more speedy it gets. So it's a weird reverse of the way the normal world is. A bigger hammer is a more powerful hammer.
Right.
In this case, a smaller hammer is a more powerful hammer. So it's a very different world. And I expected perhaps a bigger jump from the 5 nanometer to the 3 nanometer than we really got. Although the M3 Max is pretty impressive. So we'll see. We shall see. Just, I would say, don't rush to the store like this fool Leo did. Are you ready for AI in your desktop?
It depends. It depends.
I have very mixed feelings. So Microsoft is now pushing out Copilot to all Windows 11 users. Enterprise first, but everybody will get it soon. They call it Copilot. Not to be confused with Copilot for GitHub.
Yeah, so that's one thing that Microsoft did was they unified the branding across all of it. So it's all Copilot.
But here's a story from CNN that maybe it's a little bit of jealousy talking. How Microsoft is making a mess of the news after replacing staff with AI. Now, I don't use Microsoft's news, MSN, except if you're on a Windows 11,
it's hard to avoid.
It's hard to avoid. That notification in the lower left there, that's Microsoft News, MSN. And Paul Thurrott on our Windows Weekly show and I have always complained about the quality,
It's terrible news.
It's terrible. It's celebrity focus. But that was when you had humans running it. Now you're getting literally misinformation, disinformation in your MSN News. According to CNN, false claims that President Biden fell asleep during a moment of silence for victims of the Maui wildfire. A conspiracy theory, the latest surge in COVID-19 cases, is being orchestrated by the Democratic Party ahead of the election, and an obituary for an NBA player that described him as useless.
Whoa.
These false and bizarre stories are being published by Microsoft on MSN.com and Microsoft Start. And CNN, again, this could be a little, jealousy, but CNN says it's because of Microsoft's increased use of automation and AI over human editors to curate the homepage, which means the AIs don't know truth and fiction.
Right. They're just making. So that's why it is only misinformation and not disinformation, right? Because disinformation is an active role in trying to make people believe something else.
As recently as 5 years ago, Microsoft had 800 human editors working on the news. But in recent years, they've laid off editors, some of whom were told they were being replaced by automation, which they understood to be AI. The Guardian newspaper, which I do trust, but again...
my word. I'm reading now about what it did.
Accused the company of damaging the paper's reputation after it published an article from The Guardian on its site. They have a licensing agreement with The Guardian. I don't know if I want to go into details because it's pretty triggering. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, it is.
But when the AI republished The Guardian story about a murder, I guess, a questionable death, they published right next to it a poll saying, what do you think's the reason behind the woman's death? Was it murder, accident, or suicide? What do you think, kids?
And because it was republished from The Guardian, folks might have thought that The Guardian would have had that poll as part of the...
And The Guardian was furious. They said it was a deeply concerning application of the company's AI technology, demanded Microsoft take full responsibility. Quote, not only is this a sort of application potentially distressing for the family of the individual, it's also deeply damaging to The Guardian's hard-won reputation for trusted, sensitive journalism and to the reputation of the individual journalists. I hope we're not going to see more of this.
That's awful.
And I have to say, now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Because I read Twitter, which is a big mistake, but it's full of people saying AI is changing the world. There's a company called Runway that has just improved its AI video generation, and the clips I've seen are like, I'll show you some, mind-boggling. But it's still, to me, kind of a toy. Like, how many times do you want to ask it to tell you a story like Grandma used to tell you about Windows serial number? I mean, it feels like a toy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think it is a toy that has the promise of being a tool. And so earlier, whenever you asked me on if I wanted AI in my system, essentially, I do think that if I was working on something and I realized, oh my goodness, I do this every day, 5 days a week, and I could automate this. And I don't currently have the skills to create the necessary script that could do this. If I could say to the AI, hey, can we automate this task that I do every single day? And it's like, yeah, here, I've popped out a shortcut you can use on your Mac because I'm built into the system.
Have you done that?
No, because it's not built in. That's what I'm saying. If that was what it was able to do, when it can be used as a tool like that, that is where I have found it. What I have done in the past, though, is had it generate some Python that I was able to use as part of a script that did help me. And so when it comes to the tool use, yes, I like the idea of that. But you're right. A lot of this is not that. It is playing around, making funny things and being silly. And yeah, it's just an expensive toy. And
Benito, here's some video. So Runway is like DALL-E or any other AI. You give it a text prompt, and it generates video. This is AI-generated video from a text prompt. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to say, oh, yeah, that's AI-generated. That's fake. By the way, it's a chimp looking at a bird.
Yeah, and some of these birds look really...
They're very realistic. Here's a penguin on the ocean.
Yep.
There's a polar bear in the snow. These are all fake. And they're not only generated from... They're not generated from videos or images. They're generated from text.
That's wild.
So this is the latest version of Runway. So there's no question it can do good stuff. Should we look at a human? Because humans are hard to do. But maybe not.
I was going to say.
So, I mean, we're going to enter the era of deep fakes, aren't we? Of stuff where, in fact, there was a high school where the kids were getting in trouble because they were making AI-generated nudies of their classmates.
Yeah, this was my story of the week on Tech News Weekly on Thursday. Unfortunately, so there was a school in New Jersey, and some young women had gone into school for the day, and they saw the boys kind of whispering amongst one another, chatting, and finally one of the girls was able to get one of the boys to reveal what was going on, and a young man had shared in a group chat photos of the young women's real faces attached to AI-generated nude bodies. And it really has become a large conversation about how the legal aspect needs to catch up with where AI is right now, and how there's a lot going on in trying to understand how do you even pursue things like this? What does this content, is this CSAM? Is it not? It's a whole mess.
By the way, that's been another problem with CSAM, which is child sexual abuse material. It's child porn. It's the new name for child porn. Is also problematic because they have, as you know, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has hashes they've generated for this child porn, so they can quickly identify it just by matching a hash without actually looking at the image or distributing the image. But the problem is now people are taking those images and using AI to modify them, or creating new images with AI, and they're not in the NCMEC database because there's no hash for them. It's just a mess.
It is, and that's the thing. The people may be going, okay, but you even type in something like the word gun in Adobe's Firefly and it won't generate, and you use OpenAI or DALL-E, it doesn't generate. That's because there are lots of open source tools out there that people are basically tying to their tools that are doing this. They're called, body swap or face swap or undress. These tools are out there, and
they don't have the guardrails.
Exactly, and the kids are using them on their phones.
There's a lot of effort to get around guardrails, and we've seen that happen also, that these guardrails are not perfect. This week, there were two declarations that we should be more careful with AI. One from the president, an executive order, setting out, I think, some fairly concrete things that companies need to do. They need to invest in safety and so forth. And another from Bletchley Park, which is where, of course, the Enigma machine was cracked in World War II. It's where Alan Turing did his work. And there was a meeting there of governments from all over Europe. And they made a similar declaration that, well, we got to pay attention to safety. But,
it's all moving so fast.
But that's the funny thing is, on the one hand, the stuff you're getting on the desktop as Microsoft Copilot is a toy. And even, some of this is a toy. But there's like the video and stuff.
I'm laughing because it's reminding me of Toy Story, where you are a toy.
You're a toy. And yet, the opportunity for mischief is great.
Yes. Which, frankly, what is a toy but a object of mischief?
Oh, wow! I never thought of it that way.
Sort of, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, but
there.
that's a good point. Anyway, I think it's going to be we live in interesting times. That's all I can say. I mean, we're going to be starting to use AI for show notes and things, and it does a great job.
Tool. Yeah, it's a tool when it comes to that.
We're going to use AI for text transcriptions of our shows. Very useful.
We're replacing both Leo and myself with AI versions of ourselves.
Or have we already?
Oh.
I'll tell you what, you'll know when we start saying, hey, this AI stuff is great. I'm very excited.
There you go. There's
I'm very
the canary.
excited about what AI can do today. And in fact, we really should welcome our AI overlords. 888-724-2884 is the phone number if you want to call us.
Yes.
That's good during the live show, which is 2 to 5. Oh, by the way, happy standard time. 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. We are now on standard time in the U.S.
Yeah, there you go. But
I'm not going to go off on that.
You can also call us during the week at that number and leave a voicemail,
message.
which we love having those as well. There are other ways to get in touch with us. One is by opening up your browser on your phone, or if you choose, your computer, going to call.twit.tv. That will connect you to our Zoom call, where you'll hang out and have the opportunity to ask a question live on the air. We do ask that if you join the Zoom call, that you raise up your hand. There is a button in Zoom that says raise hand.
Because we won't call on you.
Unless you have that.
Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter.
Did you ever watch that show?
No, I know that through The Office because Michael makes references to it a lot.
I guess it predates you.
So yes, raise your virtual hand there, because some people just like to hang out in the Zoom and watch from there. So that could be that as well. And then you can also get in touch with us via email at atg@twit.tv. You can attach video or audio to that if you choose, but we also take text-based questions there as well. So we'd love to hear from you.
I am very excited to get to our first calls. And don't forget, coming up in just a little bit, Scott Wilkinson with his Black Friday deals. I can't believe how is it Black Friday already?
It's just zooming by.
How is that? Oh my God! Well, it's not already, but it's a week from Friday, right?
Stop! It is not a week from Friday.
Best Buy has already started the Black Friday deals.
It's 2 weeks from Friday.
Okay.
Wait, that's so confusing. Yeah.
It's 2 weeks from Friday.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
Let's take a break, and then we will come back with your calls. First calls. You guys talk amongst yourself. Figure out who our first caller will be. But I know who our first advertiser is, the great folks at Traceroute. AI continues to be integrated right into every facet of our lives. We were just talking about this. It's now time for us all to start questioning. This could not be a more timely ad. Is AI our friend or our worst enemy? That's the focus of a 2-part season opener of the fantastic Traceroute podcast. It's award-winning. This is a great show. And the stuff we were just talking about, they talk about with intelligence. They're informed. They have experts. We're just blowing smoke. Don't miss out on this. In other ways, we can peel back the layers of the stack. That's what Traceroute is all about, and reveal the humanity in the hardware. You got to start listening to Traceroute. It's all about the hardware that's shaping our digital world, yes, but the humans behind it. In every episode of Traceroute, a team of technologists seeks to untangle the complex question of who shapes the internet. Now, you may have listened. If you haven't, go back and listen to season 1 and 2, because they were all about getting a solid understanding of the inner workings of technology and at the same time revealing the human element behind it. But now they've got a new season just coming out and a 2-parter to begin it, all about AI. But season 3 will tackle not just AI questions, but how can we use technology to preserve the earth? Who influences the technology that's made? What happened to the flying cars we were promised? Still waiting. Listen and follow the new season of Traceroute. It started just a couple of days ago, November 2nd, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check out Traceroute now. We are thrilled to be able to support another podcast through our podcast. Podcasts good. They're good. Podcasts good. Let's take the first call of the day. John Ashley just went back in the hall to turn on the lights.
Sorry, I had to do my primary job function.
His primary function is to keep this. So if you ever see this disc go out, it's because there's nobody in the hall.
Exactly. No one's walking around out there.
We're all in the studio.
Every single person in this building is right here, right now.
Okay, so the first person I want to call, they've named themselves in the Zoom call Leo's LastPass Photographer.
I know who that is, I think. Let's go right to it. Leo's LastPass Photographer. He's talking about an event we did, Steve Gibson and I did in Boston.
Oh.
And as it turned out, it used to be we'd go to these events and afterwards we'd meet and greet people and maybe sign a few autographs or give out some tchotchkes. Every single person, and there was a long line to do it, wanted a selfie. And I was getting tired of this, holding up my arm. So my good friend here, what's your name? I forgot. Richard?
Mark.
Mark, that's right.
No, it's Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
My good friend here, Mark, was there and said, I'll do it. And he became our LastPass photographer.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I'll always think of Mark
Wasn't that
as...
3 or 4 hours?
Felt like it.
No, seriously, the line was out the door, and I had to keep you moving because anybody one needs to know, is Leo really this nice? Yes. For that 3 or 4 hours, he's a sweetheart.
Aw.
I like Micah because he's like sweetheart Leo Jr. Just that
Yeah,
same
no.
gentlemanly.
I mean, I wouldn't
sweetheart,
say
but
nice. I would say verbose, but okay. You know, you get the
No.
idea.
No, you were nice. You were sweet. You were interested
Thank
in
you.
everybody who talked to you. You generally,
I love our community. I sincerely do. I've been very fortunate over the last 20 years to really develop a relationship. 25 years now since Tech TV started, with some very nice people. People like myself, true nerds, and I like that. I like the geeks. Mark, are you in Boston area? Where are you calling from?
No, my brother lives in Boston. I happened to be visiting him that week.
Oh, okay.
And when you said you were there, I grabbed his card and just drove down there.
Does your does your wife make you sit in the wire closet, or is that just your...
Oh, no. What this is this used to be the patio. So what it is like, this is I've got like
it's your
a
man
whole
cave.
bunch of monitors.
I got it.
Yeah, and it's my man cave. But
Whoa,
there's no,
lots of
like,
monitors.
if you go this way, that's back out. And so the thing is that it's just a little hole in the area. There's no actual walls or anything.
Nice.
And so that's just where I am. And so I've got my headset for the computer and I've got my headset for my phone.
Oh, nice.
Do you ever leave your man cave, Mark?
Oh yeah. No, all the time. I was just out from a walk before this started. And so it's just, I'm the one that said, I listen to everything 3 times speed. So generally I don't listen to the live because
you have more time.
3x speed.
You have more time. And we sound kind of drunk and slow.
So what if we talk like this? Does that make it really hard for you to understand what we're trying to say?
No, in fact, it's easier.
No. In fact, if you get an idea, this, if I go here,
I can't even
you're going to love this. These are just some of the list of my podcasts that I listen to.
So you have to listen at 3x to get through all of
to get through all of that, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And so I don't listen to all of it anymore, but
your brain is good.
You can see that it's...
Your brain is good, yeah. And do you feel like you're getting all the content if you listen to 3x? I know most of our audience actually listens at a higher speed.
Yeah, more than 1x.
It drives me crazy because Lisa listens to all her books at 1.5 or 2x.
Me too, not 2x.
She'll turn them on the speaker so we can listen together. And it's like, well, can you slow that down? I said, no, I can't.
It's so slow.
I listen to Calm. Yeah, I listen to Calm and I have to keep re-listening because my brain just zones out. It's too slow.
Yeah, Calm.
So...
You're supposed
anyhow,
to
by the way, it's sad those boys were passing that stuff around because I can't imagine my son doing that.
But you know how the teenage mind is. They don't have the impulse control, and they're not really thinking about how the girls might feel about it. And you know who I really feel bad for is those poor girls.
Yep.
Horrible.
So many of them, removed their social media entirely.
That's
there were a couple who said, "Look, we feel scared going to school because we never thought that someone else would do this. You're going to school."
Breaks my heart.
Yeah, it was an awful situation.
But I don't blame the boys so much because that's what teenage boys are. They're lumps of lust.
Really, it's the parents that.
I don't even know if I don't know how you blame anybody. It's just. Maybe blame AI.
Well, I don't know.
No, it's never the tool. It's you need to have empathy for other people.
Yeah, but
it's just that simple.
empathy
Would you
doesn't
want somebody
develop
to do that
until
to
later.
you, your mom, your wife, your daughter, your
I agree.
sister? Would these
think about yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because okay. Yeah, let's not continue.
Yeah.
How can we help you?
But okay, so this is my little transporter, and the poor little where are we? My little transporter.
Oh my God, I haven't seen one of those in years.
Yeah, I've got the puck over in that bay over there. And so, but it just like last month stopped working. So I need to get something new. And I don't want something like Dropbox just because I like my files to myself. So what I'm looking for is there's Sync, I guess, there's Sync thing. And then there's the Synologies, that kind of stuff.
So the transporter was basically a NAS without a drive, kind of, sort of, that you would plug drives into and it would connect up, right? Or did it have a drive in it?
Oh, the other one I have, there's a Sync and a puck. The Sync has a little 2.5-inch drive in it.
Right.
And it's kind of curved up like that. And then there's the puck, which just you attach whatever drive you want to.
I used to have a transporter. I gave up on that a long time ago. I think what you really want, ideally, is a NAS, a network attached storage. Expensive, however, but the idea is they look like just drive containers. They can have 2, sometimes they have 4 or 5. I tend to buy 5 drive NASs because then you have redundancy. You can run them in RAID, and if one drive dies, you literally hot swap it out and put in a new one. And the advantage of those is they really are computers. They have processors, RAM, storage, their own storage, plus these many drives, and you plug them into the network, just like the transporter. You plug them into the network, and now every computer can use them. They're great for backup. I actually use my NAS with SyncThing. So SyncThing is more about keeping all your machines in sync, right? But if your NAS, or even if your transporter, if you have a backup drive that is also attached to SyncThing, that's why it needs a computer. That's why NAS is a good choice. It will also back it up. And I have my SyncThing running on my Synology NAS. And by the way, it's available for the Synology NAS as a third-party extension. You can add it. And I have it in read-only mode. So it takes all the changes without ever making changes to anything else. So it's a backup, right? That's what a backup is. Everything you've ever done with no deletions. SyncThing can be set to delete as well as to not delete. So I have SyncThing. So when I have a new computer, I will put SyncThing on it, and I will say I will say, here's another SyncThing, and whenever it says it's got a folder for you, accept it. And so I accept the documents, I accept the photos. I have a sync folder that has legal documents and stuff. And the nice thing about SyncThing is not putting it in the cloud. So I can put private stuff in my sync folder. And so I let it sync that, and then I let it back up to the NAS, and none of that ever touches the cloud. So that's a nice way to go. What do you do?
I also use network attached storage. I don't use SyncThing. Most of my sort of backing up is happening via Time Machine, and then I do quite literally manual movements of things that I have stored locally that I want to go onto my network attached storage, just because it's not, for me, it's not everything on my system that I want there. So yeah, it's all manual. I don't do the full process of those backups.
There's lots of ways to skin this fish, but
indeed.
One question.
Yeah.
Does SyncThing, because the whole point of the transporter was, my mom does my accounting, and so she had transporter software on her computer in her house. The kids were off to college, and so they could have their stuff if they wanted to go back and forth between their desktops here and their college laptops. And so I just want to make sure that SyncThing will sync things outside this network.
Yes.
No problem.
In fact, that's the thing. I have SyncThing running on computers here. And when I set up a new computer here, I attach it. Now, it's a little complicated to get it to start talking to it, but it does network address translation, so it's able to forward it around. It does it securely. It's worth reading about SyncThing. SyncThing is free and open source, and everything is encrypted in transit. So you don't have to worry about somebody spying on that transit. And then there's a very clever, I think, authentication system that you use. so that both ends have to say, yeah, we agree. We're gonna send data back and forth. So the initial setup, for instance, if your kids are going off to college, set it up in your network. Say sync this. The only trick with sync thing, and there's some good videos that I would recommend, or read the documentation, but there's an excellent video on it that you'll find on YouTube. I'll put a link in the show notes to it. The real key is have one kind of master computer, not the Synology, but one. For instance, let's say this is the master, and I'm going to put sync thing on. In fact, you know what I should do is I should set up sync thing. Set up the folders that you want to synchronize on here. Then all you do from then on is introduce the next computer to this computer. This computer will say, "Oh, hi, welcome. I would like to share these folders with you." You decide. You don't have to share them all. So you could have Peter's folder for his schoolwork. I would like to share, Mark's, Peter's, and Sammy's folder. And then Peter on his computer says, "I don't want Mark and Sammy's folder, but I do want Peter's folder." And from then on, they'll be synchronizing with one another. And so that's the key, is not to set up new folders on each machine, but instead have a master machine that has all the folders, and have then it introduce itself to each machine, and each machine decides which of those master list of folders it wants to accept. Now, if you did want to add a folder from another machine to the master, you could do that in reverse. The trick is not to have two documents folders with different GUIDs, because then you're going to have two document folders on each machine, and you don't want that. So that's a little confusing, I know, but the video explains it pretty well. I love SyncThing, and Steve Gibson uses it too. I use it religiously. I think it is the best thing ever, especially because it's not backup unless you set up a NAS, or you could do it with some other thing, but you set up one machine to be the machine that keeps every change ever made and never deletes anything. Then it's a real backup. I think Time Machine
my backup
is like
machine.
that. Yeah, it's your and that's what a NAS is.
No, I've got a backup machine.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be kind of like a NAS. So the transformer is essentially a NAS. It makes it a little easier. Just like your NAS, you could share it with your mom. I can see my NAS from here. In fact, I have a duplicate NAS here that sees the NAS at home, and they make sure they're in sync.
Oh, nice.
And that's my off-site backup. So I don't have to ever store anything in the cloud. Everything is stored in a storage that I own, either here or at home. You could do that with your mom.
One last question about your subscription.
Yeah.
Because I've had one of the podcasts is Law of Self-Defense, and I pay for that. And I have problems sometimes getting these subscriptions to work. So maybe you should put this is how it works, kind of, this is how easy it is, because you talk about it, but there's nothing like seeing a video that says,
gee, if only we had a video that would explain how it all works.
Yeah, I almost want us to have a twit.tv/club twit video or something, so that we can easily link to it. But basically, we saw that
this guy
as a
here
problem.
made a video,
and so we did make a video.
Oh, where is it?
So it's in the FAQ. If you head to
the best thing to do is go to twit.tv/club twit. Everything is there, right? At twit.tv/club twit.
Yep. And then under the accessing Club Twit, you can see there is a video where
I don't
know why it's not showing up. Oh, look on the right, and where it says FAQ for frequently asked questions down at the bottom.
Oh, there. So maybe we made to make this more prominent.
Just closer to the beginning of the page.
Right there under Manage Your Membership, frequently asked questions. And in the FAQ, there's a video somewhere?
Yes.
Boy, no wonder no one can find it. There it is.
See, it's the second video there.
Yeah, accessing your Club Twit account. So,
okay.
Yeah,
we do, look.
Then plug the page. Plug the page.
Yeah.
It would help.
Every time I say subscribe, I say twit.tv/club twit. That's the page. And then if you get confused, the FAQ. And Ant Pruitt, our club manager, is very good at helping people too. He's been really...
He is, in fact, I know he's taken a number of calls with some of our members to help walk them through different processes. So it is something that we are very cognizant of, that it is not the easiest thing because of the way that all of these different systems talk to one another. We do our best.
Mike B is saying, put the video at the top of the page. Well, but you haven't joined the club yet, so I didn't want to put it at the top of the page. Maybe it should be with the other video at the bottom. I don't know. we'll figure it out. We should make it more prominent.
Everybody
the thing to understand, we're using a Patreon company called Memberful for this. So Memberful handles the whole thing. When you subscribe, Memberful handles the payment. And you can use, I think, Stripe to do it.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
PayPal.
so many.
There are a variety of payment methods, credit cards, obviously. They handle that. We will then send you an email. There'll be a page that's dedicated to you with all of your feeds on it. We try to make it as easy as possible. And I think once you get it set up, it's not so complicated. The thing that most people seem to have the most difficulty with is not getting the feeds, but the Discord. And so the one thing you need to know, and you explain this in the video, is set up a Discord account first. You need to have your own personal Discord account. And then you'll get an invite to join our server. So the way Discord works is you can be a member of many different servers. So you need a Discord account that's your own account. It's not related to your Club Twit account. And then you'll get an invite to join the Club Twit server. Once you're in there, you're going to be participating in the best darn social club ever. I love our Club Twit group. So you see, if you look at my Discord, I'm a member of many other servers. Here's the Power On server for the Midjourney server, LogSeek. That was Full Journey, Midjourney. Here's the podcasting server. Here's a Lisp server. So ours is this one with the Club Twit logo, the animated Club Twit logo. And so that's just one of many servers. So the one thing that mostly confuses people is you have to have a Discord account first, and then you can join the Club Twit server. That makes sense.
And I can use that through, just real quick, since probably people are listening, I can use that through Pocket Casts.
Not Discord, but you can
Discord
listen to
No.
Yeah, the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Most of our
the
audience
podcast.
listens in Pocket Casts. I'm just like you. I should show you my Pocket Casts. It's the same long list of shows that I love. Yeah.
Okay.
Pocket Casts is great. We totally support Pocket Casts, along with the other big ones. We support everything. You're going to get a RSS feed that will work anywhere.
Yep.
The only thing that's weird is that the ad-free versions, everybody has their own distinct RSS feed. And that's kind of to keep you from giving it to everybody.
Yes, that's exactly what it's for. That way, if you're sharing it with other people,
We know who's sharing it.
we know who's sharing it.
Yeah. And that wasn't something we instituted. That's just
How Memberful works. Yep.
But it makes a lot of sense. Hey, Mark, it's a pleasure to reconnect. Thanks for calling in.
Yep.
Have a great
All right,
day.
talk to you later.
Take care.
All right. You too.
Don't fall
Bye.
into the wires.
No, there.
There. Oh, he did. He fell in. Oh, gosh. Hey, I think I would take a break here, but I think really we should get right to Scott Wilkinson. Don't you think? Our home theater geek, he is, of course, in the club, the Home Theater Geeks podcast. He is an expert on audio and video, AV systems. In fact, I hope you watched the most recent podcast because they had the shootout, which picked the best TV for 2024. So that's fun. But let's
exciting.
say hi to Scott.
There's
There he
Scott. Hello, Scott.
at his home in Santa Cruz, California.
And notice I'm wearing my UC Santa Cruz.
Snails. Go
Slugs.
banana slugs.
We have a
Lugs.
family member who just started at UC
Did
Santa
you?
Cruz. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Sebastian's family member. Yeah.
Oh,
Fantastic.
You know, my
Maybe you'll
father
come
was
down and
a
visit.
professor there for years and a provost.
Oh.
Yeah, in fact, when we moved to California when I was 15, we lived in what was College 5. It was Kresge. We lived in the married student housing at Kresge, which is one of the colleges. And and my sister and I had our own apartment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fancy.
We were fancy.
That is so
fancy.
cool.
Anyway, hello, banana slugs.
Hey, go
Mr. Tuba
Slugs.
himself.
So everybody should listen to the last Home Theater Geeks, but just top line it. What is the best TV?
The best TV, the king of TVs, as they call it, is the Sony A95L, the QD OLED, Quantum Dot OLED. And I'm not surprised. No one was surprised.
This was the second year in a row for the Sony, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's its second generation. And, of course, it improved.
Nice. I have the
generations
Samsung QD OLED, and I'm very happy with the brightness.
Also
of QD
really,
OLED.
really good.
Yeah.
The only caveat on that one is that Samsung does not support Dolby Vision HDR.
Right.
So if that's important to you, it's something to think about. But in terms of performance, Samsung and Sony are very close. And they were very close in the shootout as well.
What happened to LG? They used to win every year with their OLEDs.
Well, and they now I have to look up the results, but certainly the LG OLED came in near the top as well. And it won every year until QD OLED became available.
Yeah, that's
and
the
that's
new
simply
technology.
a better technology.
Yeah,
I mean, it is better than OLED. And OLED's great. Don't get me wrong.
I still,
OLED's
we were watching.
really good.
I can't remember. We were watching something that was in 4K HDR. Of course, that's what you want. And I have to say, while we have the QD OLED in the living room, the 77-inch Samsung,
Right.
it still looks great to go in the bedroom and watch the LG.
Absolutely.
65.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
The QD OLED is brighter.
That's
than
the biggest
regular
difference.
OLED.
And that's why it's in the living room, right? It's a brighter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Quantum dots can get really bright.
So that's not why we brought you here today. We brought you here today for your annual Black Friday roundup. Did you do the spreadsheet again?
I did a variation of it. It's a little too early to get the real Black Friday
right.
deals.
Even
though
it's not too far from
Black Friday has become Black November.
Right.
So there are a lot of Black Friday sales starting now, but I didn't take the time to actually do the huge long spreadsheet. What I did do, and I sent to you, and I hope you can put this in the show notes, is my recommendations for the TV lines from each of the major manufacturers. And if you can find a really good Black Friday deal on any of these lines, then you're going to have a superb TV. The Black Friday deals, they will lure you in with super cheap prices on super cheap TVs. But I always recommend that you spend a little more to get a level of performance that's going to be really, really good for years to come.
Often the Black Friday deals are last year's, or in this case, this year's model.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, because come January,
new ones are coming out
yes, you're going to see the 2024 models. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Although they won't be available till spring.
Correct.
So,
or later.
Yeah.
The Sony QD OLED wasn't available until last month.
Oh, wow.
So the second generation, the new one, the A95L. So, sometimes they're kind of delayed, and I don't expect to see a huge discount in Black November for the A95L, this top of the line flagship Sony TV that's the king of TVs. But there are others within the Sony lineup, and Samsung and Hisense and LG, TCL and Vizio, and I listed those lines in my spreadsheet this year.
Yeah.
Which has some general notes about the QD OLEDs are the best TVs you can buy today. Period. End of story. They just are.
So I mean, probably the ones you've put in this spreadsheet, like we just talked about the QD OLEDs, will not be majorly discounted this Black Friday. Probably not.
And yet, the LG OLEDs, many of them probably will be.
Yeah, and I think those, by the way, those are, to me, because I'm like watching that in a darkened room a little bit closer.
Fantastic.
Just as good.
Yeah.
I don't think the QD OLED has advantages, but is the color accuracy as good on the LGs?
Yes.
The color's just as good. You're not seeing as huge a difference in the darks and the lights.
Correct.
That dynamic range is not quite.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't necessarily say that. The regular OLED does have almost infinite contrast, as does the QD OLED.
Okay. It's the number of nits for the very brightest stuff is higher on QD OLED.
Correct.
And if you're in a darkened room, that could blind you. You don't need all those nits. So if you're able to darken the room, then the LGs would be just fine.
Just fine. Completely fine. Great, in fact. I would be thrilled.
Super happy with that. I feel spoiled now with a good OLED TV or the QD OLED. I'm watching sports looks better. movies are gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is better. It's better than the theater practically. I can't wait. I saw Oppenheimer on IMAX. I can't wait to see what it looks like at home on a really good screen. It won't be as big.
It won't be as big. It won't be as big.
That's okay.
And it won't shift aspect ratio. Do you remember that, or did you not notice?
There was a little bit of that. It always made sense in context because it happened when we went back in time.
Yes.
So in a way, it was a signal. Okay, this is present. This is present day. This is past.
This is
they
back
also
in the
had
day.
They also had black and white IMAX. They made a special film just for Christopher Nolan, so that he could shoot black and white because IMAX doesn't have a black and white film. And the black and white was gorgeous. I can't wait to see that on my OLED. Do OLEDs do well with black and white?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I thought so because I was watching Casablanca the other night. And they've got a remastered version of Casablanca that's supposedly HDR. I guess it could be. And it
could be. It was shot on film originally.
Right.
You can scan that in HDR, sure.
And it looked so rich. When black and white is well shot, an Ansel Adams still or a beautiful film noir movie, it looks so good.
I agree.
Yep.
The other thing Lisa and I noticed, we were watching Band of Brothers, which was shot on film. And then its sequel, Pacific, because the Air War is coming out, the third of the three. And Lisa and I noticed how much we like film, even on an OLED.
A lot of people feel the same way. A lot of people do. And there's very few people shooting on film anymore.
But Band of Brothers, which is hugely emotional, but it's also an action movie, right? But the emotion, I don't know why. Maybe because it's 24 frames or... it isn't 24 frames, I guess, because it's a TV.
Yeah,
show.
It can be.
Yeah, but it's
most TVs,
not a film. It's not a movie.
Good TVs can show 24 frames at 24 frames.
I don't think they were shooting it for HBO for television, so I doubt they shot it at 24 frames.
Well, but if they shot it on film, it probably was shot at 24.
Oh, maybe maybe there's a dreaminess or something that you get.
There is. There's some motion blur, for example, which
and it somehow hits you harder in the heart.
This is very interesting that you say this because you're not the only one.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that the quality of cinema, of shooting on film, some people call it a filmic effect, really is something. It has greater emotional impact, for example. I haven't seen that personally. I haven't experienced that personally, but I fully believe that you did experience it, and it's important.
Well, and it's interesting because you and I have had these conversations. I'm kind of aware of it, but Lisa completely independently said this was shot on film, wasn't it? And I said, yes, it was. And she said, I can really tell.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you see the grain. I mean, you could tell just from film grain. But I don't think that's what she's talking about. She prefers it.
No.
And I think it's the emotion.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Benito.
Wow.
Hi, Benito.
I actually think it comes down to the filmmakers who choose to shoot on film.
Well, and this is Spielberg and Hanks, right?
Exactly.
Nobody loves film more than Spielberg, right?
So it's the filmmakers who choose to shoot on film that really make it that good.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I think even some older movies like Casablanca, because it's shot on film, that richness of the black and white.
Again, though, Casablanca is like a classic.
Yeah, and by a great filmmaker, right? So, yeah. Well, that's right, Benito. Right. I mean, I could shoot film, and it wouldn't look great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Well, so getting back to Black November, if you can afford an OLED and there's one on a good deal, I would say get it. If not, LCD TVs are still, generally speaking, less expensive than OLEDs. And so that's what this list really is that I sent you. It's a list of the LCD-based TVs that I consider the higher quality. And so, if you want to save a little more than an OLED, you could get one of these and you'd be very happy.
So if you're very price sensitive, do you think you can get a Black Friday deal like a $800 TV that's still very, very good?
Probably so. Wouldn't be very large. again, one of these TVs in a 55 or 65 inch, you could probably in the Black Friday marketplace get it for $1,000 or less. Yeah.
The reason we don't, those numbers are basically not out yet, and you're not going to be on again for another month. By then, we'll be talking about
which
Christmas
is why
deals.
I wanted to do this now. Yeah, right.
So I don't know. Maybe we have to get you back closer to Black Friday.
Yeah, we could. I'd be happy to do that.
I guess that would be 2 weeks from now, right?
That would be 2 weeks from now.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Man.
Let's get a little
over 2 weeks from now.
I don't look, Scott. You're probably feeling some relief that you don't have to prepare that 80-page spreadsheet. Do you still?
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, I'm sure, compiling.
It's a lot of work, but I think people find it valuable.
Are you going to do it for this show, for your Home Theater Geeks?
I hadn't thought about that.
You know what? You're going to probably cover this on Home Theater Geeks.
Actually, yeah, probably so.
So let's just say that. This is a chance to promote the club. If you're not a member of the club, Home Theater Geeks, it's in Club Twit. Is it Thursday, Scott? When do you do that?
Thursday. We post Thursdays at 4.
Okay.
We normally record 4 or 5 episodes at once.
Oh, so have you already recorded next?
I'm afraid I have recorded most of this month already.
Oh, okay.
So
never mind.
There are some great episodes coming up, though.
There are. Don't get me wrong.
Nice.
I've answered a couple of really good listener questions.
I love this conversation we have every time. And we often end up talking about quality and technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. It's if you're going to buy an LCD TV, check out this list. Those are the better ones. If you really are super price sensitive, go for whatever floats your boat. I generally recommend not going with the third tier TV brands like Element and Insignia and so on.
Those are kind of house brands, right?
They are, yeah. Best Buy or
But the
Walmart
other low
kind of
price
house
leaders,
brands.
Hisense and TCL, the Chinese brands.
Those are both really good.
They're good. Yeah.
Really good. I can fully recommend them. Yes.
I recently moved my mom into assisted living, and she brought her TCL with her, and it was a very good choice because it could get the cable because they have cable TV as part because it had Roku built in. She has a Roku remote, and so she doesn't need any extra boxes. She doesn't need any extra complications. It's all in one remote.
One remote.
Much simpler for her. And I upgraded to the high-end Roku remote, which has a headphone jack. So we've been doing all this stuff. Remember we talked about this so she could use wireless headphones and stuff. I realized, what am I talking about? She plugs her headphones into the remote. She sits far away from the TV. It works great.
Love that.
Yep. So it's a perfect solution for an elder.
I always thought that was a great idea. Headphone jack in
that
the remote.
idea that they had was just brilliant.
Really
Brilliant.
good.
So I got right on a lot of boxes, and she had an Apple TV and a cable box and all that stuff. It's so simple now. She plugs into the wall. The TV does have to be on the internet to get the television guide for the cable, unfortunately.
Right.
And of course, it has to for the Roku too.
For the Roku, for the streaming, sure.
But other than that, it is the simplest possible way for her to watch. And she was just watching Band of Brothers. She watches all sorts of great stuff on a variety of networks, thanks to that. So that's the TCLs are very nice. There are others with Roku built in now, yes?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
I believe Hisense has some.
Okay.
TCL is the main one, though.
Yeah, I really like that. And of course, then there's the Amazon TV with a Fire built in. Have you played with that at all?
I have not.
Okay.
No. Amazon has their own branded TVs.
It's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has a Fire TV built in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they really have subsidized the cost on those TVs.
Yeah.
Seriously. In that case, I believe there's 2 lines. I would recommend the higher line, which is still probably really cheap, because I believe it has the FALD FALD backlight, full array local dimming.
Yeah.
Very important for an LCD TV. Makes it a lot better.
Well, maybe we'll leave
what
that.
all these TVs that I recommend have.
We'll leave that as a topic for another day. But I bet you Amazon.
Okay, then.
I bring it up because I think Amazon will probably have a massive Black Friday Prime Day sale on their Fire TVs.
No doubt.
They go as big as 55 inches. The 55-inch Fire TV is $269. What? You might as well just get one for every room.
Right.
Holy
you
cow.
might as well.
Holy cow.
Goes up to 55. What about, isn't there an Omni series? That might be the upper.
Yeah.
You want to go to the next one up? That's the 4 series. Well, here we go. Now we're talking expensive. It goes all the way up to 75 inches for
$9.99.
$8.99.
I thought.
There you go, $900.
And these are OLED. Oh, no, these are QLEDs.
These are QLEDs.
They get me every time with that little Q.
I know. That's marketing.
The difference between the tail.
Yes,
that little
exactly.
Scott Wilkinson. Follow him at Home Theater Geeks in our club. And, of course, every month right here on the show.
Thank you, Scott.
You betcha.
Thank you,
Talk
Mr.
to you later.
Banana Slug.
Thank you, Mr. Banana Slug.
Goodbye,
Bye.
Mr. Tuba.
We'll get more of you.
Oh.
What?
This is my last chance
Tuba
to
Christmas.
mention Tuba Christmas.
Tuba
Thank you so
Christmas.
much for allowing me to do that.
Tuba Christmas.
December 3rd, Sunday,
early
which means I can't be on this show on that first Sunday of December, so we'll have
Okay.
to work something out.
Okay.
Tuba Christmas in LA.
Yay.
3 p.m. performance, free to the public. Come on out and bring the family, totally family friendly. Christmas carols and Hanukkah songs played on 100 tubas.
So cool.
Scott, are you Santa? Because you look like Santa.
I do look like Santa, but no, we have a real beard tuba playing Santa.
Wow.
Is it streaming
show
or
up.
is it only in person?
No, it's only in person.
You can't stream 100 tubas.
Well, you did
gotta
it before.
be there.
You did it
You
in
could.
the driveway, didn't you?
Oh, that's right.
What's that?
They did it in
When
the
you did-
driveway.
We did do
during
it in the
COVID.
driveway one year. Yes. Very good.
And will
Good memory,
Joanna?
Micah.
Will
Wow.
Joanna be singing?
She will. She will be singing and leading the audience in song.
Oh, it's at Forest Lawn Cemetery.
Yes, it is. Forest Lawn Glendale this year. It's for the last 10 years. It's been at Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills, but the venue there, 1,200 seat, gorgeous auditorium, was almost destroyed in last winter's storm.
Whoa.
I mean, they're not going to be ready to open that place again till next year sometime.
Yikes.
So we moved to a different campus of the Forest Lawn Cemetery
Forest
system.
Lawn, Glendale. Because the dead cannot be waked by tubas.
By tubas. That's right. That's right.
Well, we're
So
going
be
to try.
Sure to go to, we're going to try. We always do our best every year. Be sure to go to tubachristmasla.com to find all the details and the map of how to get there and when and where and so on and so forth. I really would love to see people come out.
Everybody's
and-
got to go to that.
You haven't lived till you've heard 100 tubas play Jingle Bells. Come on.
Thank you, Scott. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you,
I
guys.
guess we won't see you, but have a great Thanksgiving and a great Christmas. And everybody go out and see Tuba
Hanukkah
Christmas.
and everything.
And Hanukkah, too. Yeah,
All
actually,
that
Scott
stuff.
celebrates Hanukkah, yeah.
I do.
December 8th.
December 3rd.
3rd. Oh, man, I got to get my menorah going. Thank you, Scott.
December 3rd. Thanks, you guys. I
care.
really appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Our show today brought to you by, we'll get back to your calls in just a second, but first a word from our sponsor, FastMail. Every time I open my email, I thank the stars that I am a FastMail user. I have been for a decade. It's just the best email. I've said it for a long time. If email is important to you or your business, why are you using free email services that spy on you, that give you ads, and don't give you customer support? When for as little as $3 a month, you could get the best email provider in the world with real customer support, no tracking, no ads, true privacy. Fastmail.com. You got to go there right now. Actually, make it fastmail.com/twit, because then they'll know you saw it here and you'll get 30 days for free. FastMail will work with whatever you're using today for your email, whether it's an application on your phone or an application on your desktop. But they also have, and I know a lot of people like this, a really great web interface. In fact, I like it so much. I put FastMail, I use it on iOS and Android. But on the desktop, even though I have, Apple Mail and all the other mail programs, I actually tend to use the FastMail web interface because it's so powerful. It's so good. They have quick settings, so you can easily choose a new theme, switch between light and dark mode, change your text size, all without leaving the FastMail screen you're on. You can create new masked email addresses, show or hide your reading pane. You can switch between folders and labels and more. I have it set up to auto-save contacts, so if I reply to somebody, they're automatically in my contacts. The other reason that's a nice thing to do, it's easy to set up a filter so that you only see email from people you know. You can put the email from everybody else somewhere else in another folder. You can also choose to show public images of senders. They use Gravatar and other services. So I have pictures next to all the emails, so I know who I'm talking to, even if I've never met you. You can set default reminders for events. Oh, I should say this. Calendars and contacts built in. In fact, it's so good, I stopped using Google Calendar, Google Contacts, and Google Mail, and even Google Notes, and I use all through FastMail. It's WebDAV, CalDAV, CardDAV, so it's all standard protocols because they're an open source company. And so now my calendars sync with much better, by the way, with FastMail. I can turn on notifications for calendar alerts. I can do everything I'd want to do, and all from that quick settings menu. You can now buy domains through FastMail, and they'll set up all the records for you so that your email works immediately with all the authentication protocols that you need these days to get email through. Or you can have your own domain. In fact, every time I have a domain, I set up mail through FastMail, and it's just so much better, so much easier. For one thing, I can have an infinite number of email addresses at any given account. So I use my email addresses intelligently. They all go into my main inbox, and then I can sort based on which domain, which address. It really helps you keep organized. The best filtering, the best rules anywhere. They support the Civ language, which means if you're a coder, you can write your own filtering in addition to the standard filtering, and you get amazing control. FastMail's been a leader in email and email privacy for over 20 years. I've been using them for more than a decade, and I love it. I'm never going anywhere else. The FastMail team cares about you. You're a customer, not a product. Advertisers are left out. You're at the center. As little as $3 a month, better spam filters, of course, no ads. Better productivity tools. They support now 1Password and Bitwarden's ability to make unique login names for every site you create, which is a really nice additional security feature. It all still comes to the same place, but each address is unique. The mobile is fantastic. The desktop is fantastic. The web is easy. It's easy to get your old email out of your whatever you're using today and put it in FastMail. They'll help you do that. And they support the internet. They support open standards. In fact, they are the leaders in open standards. Many of the benefits you get in other email providers were invented first at FastMail and shared with them. Reclaim your privacy. Boost productivity with the best email anywhere. FastMail. Try it now, free for 30 days. Fastmail.com/twit. Fastmail.com/twit. We thank them so much for not only their support of this show, but everything that we've done for me personally for so many years. I just love FastMail. Should I do I can reach back and get an email.
Time for an email.
I like to pretend that's hard. I played pickleball for the first time yesterday.
Did you like it?
My pickleball arm, a little sore. I'm a lefty. But yeah, Lisa and I had so much fun. Have you ever played?
I've not played, but for some reason it seems to be really in right now.
It's tennis for old people.
Okay.
So you get a racket that's solid. It kind of looks like it's the size of a racquetball racket, but it's solid. And then you use a wiffle ball. It's like a wiffle ball. It's probably a little different. So the court's tiny. You don't have to run as much. And it's really fun.
And the ball is a little bit slower coming back down.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was invented where Stacey Higginbotham lives, in Bainbridge Island, Washington. Stacey's husband is a big pickleballer.
Wow.
And I thought, I should play. And we did. It was so much fun.
Cool.
But that's not what this message is about. From Reshaw. Can't use iPhone ringtones as text tones. Oh, this is for you, Mr. iOS Today host. I have been experiencing an issue with my iPhone after this iOS 17 update. I can no longer use ringtones I've purchased from iTunes as text tones. They must put them somewhere else. I've tried several options, including a restore, but the issue persists. Can you help me? So Risha bought his ringtones. Mm-hmm. See, I've never bought ringtones.
Let's do AirPlay.
I don't even know what that's like.
AirPlay 1, please. Or AirPlay 2. Is Leo AirPlaying? No, he's not AirPlaying.
I'm not AirPlaying.
Okay, then I'll do AirPlay 1. So there is a button that you can press, and I'm wondering if you have pressed it. In the settings menu, if you go into sound Okay. If you go into sounds and haptics and you go into text tone or in ringtone or any of them, you'll see right at the top there's a section that says store. And within store, there is a button that says download all purchased tones.
Okay.
From there, it will see if you've ever purchased a tone. So there was a tone that I purchased from the Minion movie at one point.
What does it sound like?
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die, is what it says. And it's this little girl who has this fluffy stuffed animal.
Probably don't want that as a ringtone, but let's say, so you bought it, what, it's just a tone? Is it like, do they call it a ringtone?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
called, yeah, from specifically from the
But
tone
let's say you
store.
wanted it as an alert instead of a ringtone.
so
like when new email.
Let's say
comes
for,
in.
okay, so let's say you wanted to use it for new mail. I could
Yeah.
tap on new mail.
Yeah.
And then I would choose download all purchased tones.
Oh, you have to download them there too.
Yep, and then it'll
there
pop
he's
up.
so fluffy. Okay.
And so I think probably what you needed to do is just tap that download button. Now, if that button is not showing up, I would recommend tapping on the tone store button, because this can sometimes kick the system into going, oh, right, I need to look to see if there have been any tones that were purchased.
Oh my God, I must have bought some tones at one point 100 years ago because I just pushed that button and it's downloading something.
So you've got something.
I don't know what it's going to be.
And then it will take you also to the ringtone store, and all of these tones should be able to be used
these
as
are terrible.
alerts or as ringtones themselves. Oh, you can't even
use
show them.
any of these. These are awful.
There's the
I'm
Super
embarrassed
Mario
that
mushroom.
I bought these.
Let's see what that sounds like.
It's still downloading. Yeah, so I must have bought these ages ago. So you can do it, but you have to do it in the alert section or the text tone section, and then download download it there. So downloading it simply in the ringtone section,
Right.
Get it into the text
Whichever
tone
place,
section.
exactly, wherever you're wanting to actually have it show up, you need to hit that download button. And now, there's mine.
You would. Would you use that?
I used to, because at the time, I was surrounded by people who also had goofy tones, and so we'd all laugh at each other as they were playing. But now I don't ever have tones turned on
You
at
don't
all.
have any friends anymore.
I don't.
so-
I also have no friends.
Nobody calls me. Here's my ringtone for the generic one. It's an old Twit theme that somebody made for me. That's a good one.
That is a good
That's
one.
a good one. And then that's my ringtone, and then my text tone. Oh, it's still at default. I didn't want it to be. Oh no, it was this. It's passage. There aren't a lot of good text tones. It's
there,
subtle.
here.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It's not very loud,
It's
but
a
I don't
little
want it to
plucky.
be very loud, right? I just wanted a little note that I've been alerted.
Yeah, I just never have alerts turned on. It's always just buzzing.
Oh, you're always quiet.
Yeah, I don't like sounds playing
For
around.
some reason, I bought this. Oh, it's not playing. Oh, because I have it. Maybe because it's too long for a text tone. It's really a ringtone. Why did I buy that?
That is so funny.
It's Rihanna, right?
Yes.
Why did I buy that?
I don't know, but it's like early 2000s.
That's when I bought it.
So funny to
That's
me.
when I bought it a long
Just-
time ago.
I imagine you at the doctor's office and you're looking around in your pocket. It says Rihanna is playing on your phone, and that's so funny to me because everyone will be like, "Why is this
Aren't
older
ringtones
white gentleman?"
embarrassing now, though?
Yes,
You don't
they
wanna-
are.
You don't want that as your ringtone.
Don't do ringtones.
No.
In fact, I think having your phone make any sound around other people is embarrassing. It's like, why are you making noise?
This is the default on the new iPhone. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
The only time my phone makes a sound out loud is the alarm in the morning.
And see, now this is a bone of contention in my household. Lisa has the most annoying alarm, and she gets up at 6 in the morning.
Oh.
And I don't want to get up at 6 in the
No.
morning, but I have to hear her alarm. What's your alarm sound?
Mine is, it's called Early Riser.
Yeah, I don't like the name of it already. I don't like it.
And it does a slow kind of lead in.
It builds up. So you can,
Yeah.
if you were so inclined, lean over and quickly silence
Yes,
it
and that's often what happens.
before somebody, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't real. I have it because I have trust issues with myself. Because it's actually my 8 sleep that wakes me up. For
Yeah, it does a
sponsor on
little
the network.
buzz.
And
Yeah.
it buzzes me.
I like that. This is another one. Yo sé mañana. That's another one I bought.
I am
But you know,
without.
I must have bought these.
Wait, yo sin.
Yo
this one,
sé,
I am-
yo no sé. I don't know tomorrow.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't know
Yo sé.
nothing about tomorrow. It's only today. It won't stop either. That's another problem. Let's go back to
This is the song that
short one.
never ends.
I think this is interesting. I think if you were going out on a date with somebody and you wanted to really get to know them, maybe one of the first questions is,
What's your
ringtone? What's your alarm tone? And if it's Rihanna, you maybe think twice. I'm just saying.
I would say that if you asked someone born after 2000, they would tell you that they don't have a ringtone. Because
Interesting.
Anecdotally,
But you have to have a ringtone.
well, yeah, sorry, then it's set to the default. But they would tell you, I don't
don't
ever
care.
make a sound. No, anecdotally, everyone who I've heard from, they make sure their phones are on silence.
I don't ever want to hear it ring.
Yeah.
There was a time, I don't know if maybe you're too young to remember this, where you would make a separate ringtone for everybody.
Person, yep.
So like when my mom called, it would play. And they were funny too. I would
Yes.
always choose funny things.
Yeah, I remember that. And
I think when my son called, I'd play the chicken dance. So that way, you'd know who's calling, and B, you could make a little fun. Sometimes it get people mad.
yeah,
They
like
hear their
that's
ring.
my ringtone.
What the hell?
That's not nice.
Hey, man.
Why is my ringtone
The chicken dance.
the
What's
chicken
wrong?
dance?
What?
I have separate vibrations set up for a few people.
Oh, you do?
So that I know, that's...
So your phone only vibrates.
Yep.
It never rings.
never rings.
But that means you have to have it in your pocket all the time, right?
Well, I also get a
Oh,
tap
you get
on
a
my
thing
watch.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then if it's not in my hand and I'm not wearing my watch, then
Isn't
you
that
just don't
funny
hear
how
from
things change? I mean, when Risha said I bought tones, I thought, who buys ringtones?
Right. No
but
one-
I have.
Yeah, we
Just
did in
it was
the past.
a long time ago.
Exactly.
That was a big moneymaker
My
for the phone
grandma
companies.
loved buying ringtones.
Yeah, they were 99 cents, but they would only work for 3 months a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was
And
kind of like a subscription.
It was that was a sneaky little.
Ooh, those clever cats.
I love Rihanna. No hate here.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Rihanna. Love Rihanna. I bought this ringtone, but I don't want to hear that when the phone rings.
Right.
I want to listen to a song. That's a different thing.
Yeah, no.
I was
all
listening
love
to
for
Rihanna,
Rihanna
just the
Yeah.
other day. I like her that much.
And you like her enough to pronounce it Rihanna, which is the real way her name is
you
pronounced.
gave me a hard time when I
I
said
know. I was shocked.
it. Yeah.
You taught me that, no, it's Rihanna.
Loquacious in our IFC says, when my guy called, it played Watermelon Man.
What is I've never heard
Oh,
that.
somebody go in the hall. The lights just went out. Am I just now noticing this?
We need to do like a Roomba out there with something on it.
All right, let's take another call.
Yeah, let's do a call.
How about John? He's got his hand up. We'll
wait.
send John.
John's trying to run back like, no, I had a
John,
plan.
come on back. John, hurry up. John, you've gone into the room. Press, what is it, star six to unmute?
No, you don't have to do that. It's only with phone calls that you have to
I
do
don't
that.
know. What do I know? I don't know nothing.
It was Zoom calls. You don't have to press star 6.
I'm basically in the back seat. I'm a
John,
passenger.
you need to unmute on your end.
See, he does have
Yes,
to
but
unmute.
not with star 6. That's only if you're on the phone.
There's a mute.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Where are you calling from?
I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Love it. And I love the Mexican blanket you have behind you there. That's beautiful.
It's actually an old towel, I think, from maybe
okay.
hand-me-down. So
I
this
love the
could be
towel.
from-
It's a beautiful towel. You didn't
Yeah,
have to
could
tell
be.
me. You didn't have to say that. You could have just said, yes, I bought that when I was in Tijuana. You didn't.
I think John hasn't taken improv classes, so he's not aware of the yes and. That's all.
yes, and it is a Mexican blanket.
Yes. And my mother wove that for me when I was a child. So how can we help you?
Well, first off, love the show.
Thank you.
I've used your information to make myself sound smarter than I am. So, but I really appreciate what you guys do. So thanks for that.
Thank you. Do
Thanks.
you
That's
work in
very
IT?
No, but somehow I always end up helping people.
You're the guy.
Just from
Yeah.
the knowledge I get from you guys.
The go-to guy.
So,
Yep.
yeah. But I always give you credit. I say it's from Leo and Micah.
And they go, who?
That's very kind.
and they are, and they would be. So, well, let us help you then with something else.
Sure. So, I think this is a similar question to what you guys were talking about, ringtones. I'm trying to help my mom out. She bought iTunes songs. I hope this is an easy question, but I haven't been able to figure it out.
It is. It is. I know where you're going, but keep going.
So yeah, long time ago.
And she wants to turn them into ringtones.
Well,
no.
She has an Android phone, and she bought all these songs, and she still has her old iPods, which have got to be forever. They're like one of the original iPods she still has, and so she has the songs on there, but she wants to be able to play them in her car and stuff like that, like through her phone. Mm-hmm. And she has an Android phone. So, since she spent the money on them, she has like 600 songs or something like that she's purchased through iTunes. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to, I don't know, maybe get them out of iTunes or get them onto her Android phone in a way that she can access them, easily through her phone.
Yeah, so there are a few ways. First, if she wanted to, she could download on Android the Apple Music app and gain access to the songs that way. But if these were purchased in the time before Apple Music, they are just audio files. And so if they are on iTunes on a Windows machine or on iTunes on a Mac, you can simply export them and import them however you might want to. So depending on the Android device, of course, the music player might be in a different place. You might be using a different kind of music player, but they all have the ability to read right from an SD card or read from internal storage the music. And looks like Leo's got some apps to suggest.
Well, and this is also because Apple stopped putting copy protection on their music some years ago.
Yeah.
Now, if she bought the songs before that, they may still have copy protection on them.
Yeah, I can't remember what our problem was, but I for some reason I've struggled to make it work. So I don't know.
It may be.
What have you done thus far
on it? Still,
they're ancient, so I think it was.
That's probably what it is. Because nowadays they're just AAC files, and any Android app can play them.
Oh, and if you never used iTunes Match to get the more.
By the way, that's the only, as far as there's two ways. Okay. There's the legal way and there's the illegal way. So the legal way is to give Apple $25. And this might actually be worth it. You pay $25 a year for something they call iTunes Match. I just recently turned it off because I don't need it anymore. But what it would do is it matches all the songs in our library with uncopy protected and in some cases higher quality versions of those songs. It replaces them. And that's what Apple did when it went from copy protected to uncopy protected as a kind of sop to the music industry. The music industry's hair caught on fire, and they said, you're taking out anti-piracy? And they said, well, look, what we'll do is we'll charge people $25. We'll give some of that back to you. Everybody will be happy. So that's why that was there, and that's why it's still there, and I don't think you really need it anymore. But if you have old copy protected versions of the songs, that's the legal way to do it. The truth is, you can strip off that copy protection. There are many ways to do it. For years, I used something called Double Twist, and I was just going to doubletwist.com. They're still around. I mean, there's not as much demand for what they do. This was created by the guy who figured out how to crack DVD copy protection. But they do have a Double Twist Android player that I bet you, this is the first thing I would do is just see if it plays the old copy protected Apple Music, because that's what Double Twist's big thing was it would play the copy protected music. I think they call it Magic Play, but I don't know. Anyway, if they no longer do that, they might not. There's some legal liability with breaking copy protection. Then you can pay Apple the $25, or you could just do a little research. Now that you know that that's what the problem is, you can go and there's places you can find stuff to crack it.
Okay, so she's not very tech savvy. But she keeps up to date with a Samsung phone, so I think it's one of the newer models.
Good, those are great phones.
But she doesn't know anything about like what kind of music player to use. So do you guys have a recommendation?
Well, Samsung has
Samsung
one.
phone?
It's on there. It's called Music.
Yeah, I would recommend if she's not super tech savvy to use, in this case, use the built-in. If you're asking about podcasts, I would still say to go to Pocket Casts and whatever Samsung offers. But because it's going to have the deepest integration, and however you two choose to get the music into a place that can then be read by that music library, Samsung Music's going to be the best option because you know that it will be able to read the music and play it and, get to everything.
Right.
But it won't read copy protected songs.
Yeah.
So that's your first issue are these copy protected? I suspect they are. How do I get rid of it? $25 iTunes Match. That's the legal, fair, safe way to do it. Or go online and look there are a lot of programs that will strip the copy protection out of those songs. But in order to do that, you've got to get those songs off of the old phone or an iPod onto your computer and then process them. If they're already on the Mac, it'll work.
Well, she has a very old laptop. It's not a Mac. It might be a Lenovo. I think it's a Lenovo.
Okay.
And it's pretty ancient, but I don't think we were able to log in on a different computer to get in and find those songs.
So you think they're stored locally on the machine?
Yeah, I think we tried to figure out how to get into iTunes and find them, and the only place we've been able to find them is on her computer that she originally used. And it's
Apple dropped the copy protection in 2009. Do you think those songs are more than 14 years old?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So they're still copy protected.
So I can use that old machine, I think, maybe to get rid of the copy protection first, maybe.
Yeah. Or you can burn them to a audio CD and then rip the CD. I'm not crazy about that because that might degrade the quality of it, but you can do that. That's called the analog hole. If she's not using a Mac, I don't think iTunes Match will work.
I think it
maybe it will on
PC.
Windows.
Yeah,
it does work on Windows.
Just not.
So if she can download iTunes, she could do that.
Yeah, iTunes Match works with the latest version of Windows.
Okay.
And then if we did that, would I be able to log in on a different computer and still find those
Then they're
songs?
just files.
Yeah,
you copy them to a thumb drive, and you can do anything you want with
But
them.
also, because you've iTunes matched them, they will have a cloud analog that you could then,
it's
download
already,
onto the machine.
part of iTunes Match stores it in the cloud so you can stream it to anywhere. That's part of it.
So you would be able to download it on a new machine at that point. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because her machine's so old, I'd love to, as quickly as possible, move over to a different
because she's going to lose them
Yep.
iTunes Match is also a backup. So that's really what you want to do. Yeah.
Okay, and then this may be a dumb question, but what file format, if I'm trying to get them to, I guess, Samsung's music app, what file format would I need to remove them? I don't know, download them.
It doesn't matter, but MP3 is the most common. Apple's will be M4A or AAC files, and I would say that's modern. Any modern phone should be able to handle those.
Yeah.
But if you really want to make
universal
plays, no matter where, a little SanDisk player or whatever, MP3.
And then would I connect a cable to the phone from the computer to add them to her Samsung Music?
That's one way of doing it.
How would you?
So that's with the Samsung phone. It needs to be in a special mode, right, where it becomes a hard drive that the computer can see.
Can't you download them from Apple onto the phone?
You could, but you would have to play them through the Apple Music app. I don't think that it would give outside access to it.
See, this is part of the problem of the way phones work. Is it when you download it, stores it in a folder that you don't have access to from the music folder, but you might. This gets a little weird and complicated, and it might just take some experimentation. But Apple that music is in the cloud, so you can use a Samsung browser to log into the cloud, right? The iCloud account.
Yeah.
And there's the music, and there's a little cloudy button with a down arrow, and you could press that down arrow on each of them, and it will download them.
Yeah, could do that.
It will then put them, though, not into the music folder, but the download folder. It may be, I think it is, that the Samsung Music Player will be able to see them. If not, then you have to move it from the download folder to a music folder. But I think most of the time on Android, when you get a music file, it wakes up and says, "Oh, hey, that's music. Do you want
Yeah.
to have access to that folder? And you say yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give all that a try. It's just been kind of a frustrating
I don't blame
process.
you.
I thought it would be easier. I just figured it'd be easier than this.
This is why copy protection is horrible. And notice, by the way, that the world didn't end after 2009, that the music industry didn't die. It was a waste of everybody's time. And the only people who were ever bothered by copy protection were honest people. Because every single pirate knows exactly how to remove it. It's trivial. Like I've been telling you.
She paid for these songs, so that's why we're, she's on my case about making sure I get them for her.
That's her music library. Yeah. Even if she didn't pay for them. I have a couple of terabytes of music. I don't want to lose that. That's, of course, nowadays the youngs don't buy music anymore. They stream it. And
I told her that. I was like, listen, you can just stream. That's what everybody's doing. And she quickly was like, I'm not having any of that.
I bought those records and I'm going to play them.
I have to tell you, though, my grandma was about it, too. And then I showed her and she said, wait, I can just listen to any song I want to at any time. And then she was like, can I listen to this? And I typed it in for her. Wait, I can... What about this? And when I did the object lesson, is that what it is? Then that's whenever the realization kicked in, and she's been an Apple Music subscriber ever since.
Right. Yeah.
She could get
I
on
made it that far. She just.
Oh, she still
just
was
didn't like
not.
that she was losing the money that she spent.
Because
really
it
what
still
it was.
didn't.
She was like,
address the original.
Yeah, she doesn't have to pay a monthly fee. I mean, she owns it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And if that's all she ever wants to listen to, she's got it.
Her music taste is locked in.
Well, kind of. She did kind of say that she's like, I know what I like, and I already paid for these, so I'm not willing to accept your streaming solution because that's like throwing money away.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Mom.
Yeah. Although, I got to be fair, there is a free Spotify. You'll have some ads in there.
That's true.
And it still has more, I don't know, 6 million songs? How many songs it is? Every song, basically.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
Well, good luck. You'll have to let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is complicated.
Yeah,
it's complicated, but it's not. It's one of those things that's like easy, but there's a lot of different things that you have to figure out.
Figure out the route to take.
Yeah. Does Spotify play an ad for every song? No. I don't have a free Spotify
I'm sure
account.
it feels like that. I
might
know.
feel like that.
If I could be the streaming music fairy and go around and grant friends and colleagues with a subscription, I would, because anytime I've been at someone's house and they're playing their Spotify and then an ad comes on, I'm like, what kind of world is this?
I know.
Please, I'll give you $8 if you subscribe right now. I can't listen to these.
Pandora too. Same thing. Penta Penguin in our IRC says, pay for her music streaming for a year and then take it away and see what she says.
That's so mean.
That's mean. You're mean.
That sounds like a lab rat
he's
situation.
Mean. Hey, pleasure talking to you. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
take care.
We're 5 minutes out from Johnny Jet.
I want another call. Or do you have some good voicemails queued up?
We always have voicemails.
Well, let's play them. Play them, partner.
Hi, this is Vinny in Durham, North Carolina.
Cool. All right.
That was fun. Vinny apparently was watching the eclipse.
Vinny in Durham, North Carolina.
Yeah?
About 10 years ago, I realized I didn't like all the ads I was seeing as I was browsing the internet, so hopped on Reddit, tried to find an ad blocker. They recommended AdBlock Plus at the time. Put it in my Chrome, and I just haven't really thought about it for 10 years. It's still installed. I can see it. I was wondering, it's not working as well as it used to. I'm seeing a lot more ads. And are there recommendations you have on better ad blockers? Are there privacy considerations around even having an ad blocker that can see all the traffic? Thanks for any help you can give.
Easy peasy.
There's only one that Steve Gibson recommends that I recommend that I use, and I bet you use. Yep. And we like it because it's by a cranky guy. His handle is Gorehill, and he's cranky guy. And he doesn't, not only does he not like ads, he's very big on privacy. So unlike, by the way, AdBlock and AdBlock Plus, which I don't recommend, he also doesn't do a deal with advertisers to let some ads through. Adblock has something it created called the acceptable ads policy, in which they said these ads are okay. And I guess they are. It's unclear why they're okay. Maybe because they gave money to Adblock.
We don't know that, though.
Well, we don't know, but I
just wanted to make that.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued. I don't know why, but I don't. If you're running an ad blocker, I think the position is no ad is acceptable.
Yeah.
Now, I personally think there is an ethical issue with this because ads are what supports those sites you go to. But I completely, and by the way, our podcast. But I completely understand especially on mobile, the problem you have with ads because they take over, they're dancing, there's a security issue with them. There's all sorts, the bandwidth use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to judge you. If you want to block ads, there was only one to use. It's called uBlock Origin. Gore Hill has created this. There is a uBlock that is a fork of his. Don't use uBlock. uBlock Origin. It works on Chrome. I think it works on Chrome. I'm using Firefox, so that's why it's showing the Firefox logo. It is a very nice ad blocker. It does not work on Safari.
Right.
Because Apple has basically changed the way, and they say for privacy. So your issue of, well, do they see everything? Apple has changed how extensions work to protect your privacy, they say, but it also happens to break ad blockers. Chrome is about to do the same thing pretty much. So I can't promise this works on Chrome, but it does work on Firefox.
Yeah, for now it works on Chrome.
It's not going to work forever on Chrome, I suspect. Raymond Hill, Gore Hill is a living hero amongst people who don't like ads. He is the last cranky man.
The last bastion.
He's not going to invade your privacy. It works really well. Now there's an interesting battle going on because YouTube doesn't like ad blockers, and YouTube has started to go after the ad blockers. And if you try to watch YouTube with an ad blocker, it'll say, sorry, you can't. Except this is a fight you'll never win, YouTube, because
they always find a way around.
So now people are using even more draconian ad blockers. And it's just upped the ad blocker ante. And I suspect that what's going to happen is exactly the opposite of what YouTube wants, which is that more and more people are going to start running really strong ad blockers that work not just on YouTube, but everywhere else. And you're going to create a ad block hellscape. So I don't know what to say. I would invite you, if you really don't like ads, for instance, to join our club. So that's why we give you ad-free versions. But it costs you money, and there's a reason. The ads, it costs us money to do what we do. It costs every website you visit money. It costs Reddit money. So there's only two ways they can, well, there's three ways. Have a rich uncle who will give them all the money they could possibly want to run the site, charge you for the site, or run ads. Mm-hmm. Or if you're Elon Musk, who is all three, a rich uncle, and charges you and still runs ads. So he's got it going on. But except for him, everybody else is going to choose one of those methods. And we give you the option to, if you don't want ads. But I would also say, remember, those ads are what pays for the thing that you're enjoying, whether it's a YouTube video, our podcasts, or your favorite website. It's gotten to be very difficult now to have a website without a paywall, frankly. That's why everybody's doing it. Sorry to say. But if you're going to use it, and I use it, because there's a couple of reasons I use it. One is on the air, I don't want to have a bunch of ads when I'm looking at a website. I don't want to have a bunch of ads blocking the website for you. So I'm running it now, and it works quite well out of the box. It has an infinite number of settings. You could go on and on and on with uBlock Origin in playing with the settings. You can also, as you can see here, turn it off. I just clicked the link, and there's a little, by the way, it also will tell you when you go to a page how many things it blocked, how many domains are connected to that page, how many have been blocked since the install, and so forth. And then if you go into the settings, oh my goodness, you can go crazy with these settings. This is just one tab. There's also a bunch of filter lists it supports. Here, I'll make this bigger so you can see it. 104,000 network filters. These are the ones built in. These are the ad guards. If you could check all these boxes if you want.
Yeah, and not see anything
and notice,
on any website.
I don't feel like I need to, but you certainly could. There's also, you can have your own custom filters, your own custom rules. You can have trusted sites so that you can unblock. And maybe I would recommend that. If you love The Verge, you could say, I'll let The Verge ads come through. Actually, the easiest way to do that is in the ad blocker itself. You could just, when you're on a site, press this button, and then it'll turn off uBlock Origin for that site. So I would say use uBlock Origin, but also consider that ads are how these sites monetize. And if you're not a subscriber to the sites, maybe consider turning off the ad blocker for the sites you really like. Only the ones you really like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, should I take a break and then get ready? Because Johnny Jet is going to ride on in and get us some travel information as we approach the busiest travel day of the year.
Oh, it's a-coming.
First, though, a word about Discourse, our sponsor. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the Twit forums at twit.community, but if you have, that's Discourse. Discourse is the online home for our community, for any community. For over a decade, Discourse has made it their mission to make the internet a better place for online communities. It's open source. That was very important to me. It's trusted by more than 20,000 online communities, including some of the largest companies in the world. It's that good. It's I want to say forum software, but it's gone so much beyond forum software. It's of course the power of discussion, but you have real-time chat built in now. They've added AI. I keep buying AI off of mine, but they have it. Discourse makes it easy to have meaningful conversations. And if you have a community, it's so important that you be a part of that community. And here's where you can collaborate with them easily, anytime, anywhere. And your users will love it. If you're ready to create a community, visit Discourse, discourse.org/twit. We'll give you 1 month free on all the self-serve plans. And they have plans for every possible need, whether you're just starting out or you want to take your community to the next level. There's a basic plan, which you could use for a family or a club. It's a private invite-only community. The standard plan, if you want unlimited members and a public presence. And then we have, of course, the business plan for active customer support communities. One of the biggest advantages to creating your own community with Discourse is you own your own data. No ads. You always have access to all your conversation history. Discourse will never sell your data to advertisers. I love Discourse. We've been using it for years now at twit.community. Discourse gives you everything you need in one place. Make Discourse the online home for your community. Visit discourse.org/twit to get 1 month free on all self-serve plans. Discourse.org/twit. I'm a big fan of Discourse. I've tried a lot of different software over the years, and the Twit community software is the most robust, the most reliable, the most usable. It's Discourse. It's just the best. I really love it, and I love how they manage the server for me, so it's always up to date. I don't have to worry about security or anything. It's really great. Thank you, Discourse. All right, let us now go to Mr. Johnny Jet. Oh, look, it looks like Mike has flown to St. Joseph, Missouri already for Thanksgiving. Hi, Johnny.
How are you guys?
We're great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Do you, am I wrong in thinking Thanksgiving is the biggest travel day of the year?
No, the Sunday after Thanksgiving is usually the biggest travel day of the year.
Everybody going home on Sunday.
Everyone's going home. And the Wednesday before is usually the second biggest. Although I think there was one day in June, I think it was June 30th this year or 28th, that surpassed it. But I'm predicting this holiday, we're going to definitely see that number.
Oh, yeah. People can't wait to go see their families and fight over the turkey. So help us.
I think the record was almost 2.9 million people have gone through US checkpoints in one day.
On one day.
So I'm predicting it's going to beat that. Can we hit 3? They've never hit 3 million.
That would be double the normal number. Yeah.
Well, I was just looking.
It's like 1.2, 1.3.
No,
usually.
2.1.
Normal on a normal day.
It was 2.3. The last time they reported it, they don't report on weekends. So on 11/2, November 2nd, it was 2.3, almost 2.4.
Oh, we're really back to traveling. We're really back to traveling. Wow.
I mean, and there was one day in here, October 22nd, it was 2.7 million. And in 2019, that same day, it was only 2.4. So it's really picked up big time.
So what's your advice? I mean, I used to say, well, when should I book for Thanksgiving? I think you got to go now because it's only 2 weeks off, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you haven't booked your tickets.
Yes.
What were you thinking, number one?
Is
and
it too late to get a good deal?
No, it's not. It all depends on the market. So it depends where you're leaving. It depends where you're going.
Oh, okay.
I just did a News Nation interview a few days ago covering this, and I was looking at different markets, and you could still find them. It all depends. Like in LA, if you're leaving from LA, where I am, the cheapest place to go in the country was Salt Lake City, that Wednesday to Sunday. But if you're leaving from Dallas, actually, if you were leaving from New York, I think it was Seattle or somewhere. There was different markets you could go to.
So the price varies. Does that vary based on occupancy? Like, are they constantly adjusting that?
I mean, who knows what the airlines are thinking about? Yes, but usually it is about what their load factors are.
It's an interesting business because if a seat flies empty, that's it. You've lost that money, right? You don't want to have any empty seats, but you also want to have as many seats as there are people. And then within the airplane, somebody should do a map sometime. One guy might have paid $1,000. One guy sitting next to him might have paid $100.
Right. Definitely.
It's so computerized these days. And that's why I like to have you on, because we need a defense against these complicated systems that the airlines are using to squeeze every penny out of us.
Definitely. So if you don't care where you're going, you just want to get away,
okay.
Go to Google Flights, put in your city, where you live, and then put anywhere in the departure.
Oh, you can do that?
I didn't know
not the departure, the arrival. And it will show you a map of the world, and you can zoom in, and it will tell you, and put in your dates, and it will tell you what's the cheapest.
Oh my gosh.
And also what I do, by the way, I also use the alliances. So put in Star Alliance, SkyTeam, and One World. Don't put in any airline, because they're going to show you, like Spirit Airlines. They'll say $39 you can go this weekend, but then you get to the airport, and if you're checking a bag, they can charge you $100 just to put that bag in a carry-on over in the overhead bin. Not just checking a bag, but a carry-on. So you need to know these rules of the different airlines as well.
I'm just looking where I can go anywhere in the world for Thanksgiving, and with the best prices.
From Chicago, you could go to Paris. It was $590, I think, a few days ago. Round trip.
Interesting. This is a really fun little thing to do.
I know. This is fun.
I didn't know you could enter anywhere. I mean,
and you can put business class in, you could put first class in, you can put a specific airline only. But again, I stay away from the low fare carriers just because I want to know what I'm getting, and I'm usually, using carry-on, and I don't want to be charged $100 for the overhead. How do
you disable the other ones? What was it? How do you say I only want the best?
Usually a SkyTeam or One World, or let me go in there real quick.
Star Alliance.
Or Star Alliance. So Star Alliance is United, SkyTeam's Delta, American is One World, and all their partners. So American has Iberia, Qantas.
I can go to Sacramento for Thanksgiving for $211. I can go to Chicago for $333. I could go to Sydney for $1,000. This really is interesting. I mean, I literally put anywhere, and these are all the flights.
And listen, and if you change your dates by just a day or two, so if you leave on Tuesday or Monday. These are the worst
days because I'm doing the day, Thanksgiving.
So if you're leaving Wednesday to Sunday, which everyone wants to do, you're not going to get a great deal. But if you can use your vacation days wisely, this is the truth about any time of year. You can save money just by being flexible.
Yeah.
And when you have kids in school like I do, it makes it difficult. But I'm actually taking my kids out of school next week because the flights were so cheap to go somewhere that we're going. And I was like, listen, I got to take advantage of it.
So I'm picking, for instance, SkyTeam nonstops. And then you get an idea.
Yeah, so pick nonstop if you want to go nonstop. Obviously,
right. Ooh,
they have a whole
expensive
list of filters
to go to visit my mom. $1,000. So it's really interesting. Yeah, this is a kind of a fun thing to play with. This
I know, I like this.
Flights.google.com.
It
And
changes.
they don't have every airline, though. For instance, they don't have Southwest, right?
They don't have Southwest. You can only book Southwest on southwest.com.
Yeah.
If you are checking 2 bags, always look at Southwest because they do offer free check bags. But, it's kind of built into the system.
And then the only tip I have, because I flew Southwest to see my mom last time, is check in
exactly 24 hours.
24
set
hours
your
ahead
alarm.
of time. Set the alarm.
Set your alarm.
I set
it
the
for
alarm.
5 minutes before.
Yep.
And get ready. Have your computer all set or your
It's like buying an iPhone.
Yeah.
Refresh.
It is.
And then,
or you can pay extra just for that A-list.
Yeah.
But, I like to get upgraded. I like to know that I'm going to either be in the bulkhead or in the exit row or an aisle. So I like to.
Something happened to me. Did I mention this?
No.
I think I was going to save it for you.
Let's hear it.
We're standing in line. I did pay for the A-list coming home because I got squeezed going out there. I was in the last group, and I had a middle seat,
and
it was very uncomfortable. I had a very big guy in shorts to my left who decided that he wanted at least half my seat, and then it was weird. A little old lady on my right who knew that armrest was hers, not mine, and literally said, "Get off my armrest," and jammed.
Oh, if you're in the middle,
Wait, she said?
Yeah. I know.
Middle passenger, the middle seat passenger gets both armrests.
You tell her that. So anyway, what am I going to do? Get the stewardess over and get in a fight? No, I flew for 5 hours like this.
No,
I literally, my arms
out loud.
I just said I can do it. I can do anything for 5 hours.
You kick her butt right there.
I'm not gonna. She was a nice little old lady.
I'm only messing with you.
Because I'm a little old man or big old man. So anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yes, always I got A-list. But then, so we're standing in line. I'm like A3. I'm feeling pretty good. I said, I don't have any seat in this airplane. They said, but we're going to pre-board people who need a little more help getting on. And there were, I kid you not, 25 people in wheelchairs.
Yep.
A lot of them
Southwest.
jumped up after they would jump out of the wheelchair and walk down the gangway. But it feels like a scam.
It is a scam. They call them miracle flights.
Because I really don't mind if somebody's disabled or needs a little more time. That's fine.
Yep.
My mom was in a wheelchair and we'd wheel her up, and that's fine. I understand that. But I don't think all these people were disabled, to be honest.
No, it's a huge problem. And actually, I've had it in my notes to write about, and now I'm going to after you said that.
You said miracle flyers?
Miracle flights.
They get up
they're miracle flights.
I'm healed.
Right.
Yeah. They walk off the plane.
Everybody, all of us people who paid whatever it is, $50 extra to be an A, are looking at each other. Nobody wants to be mean, and I'm sure some of these people absolutely deserve to get on early and get a nice seat. The only consolation was I told the person next to me, the good news is they can't sit in the exit row. So those exit rows are still going to be available for us.
Right. But there's another problem they're doing on Southwest, a little trick that some people are playing, where one person in their party buys the A-list. They get on first and reserve the exit row.
How?
Or the other seats. They put bags on them.
Oh, you can't do that.
Well, you can.
So it's sort of like
Southwest does not have a policy against it, but some flight attendants do make an announcement saying
Please
you're not allowed to
reserve
save seats. So it's
that's why I honestly, I'll tell you the truth, and I hope somebody from Southwest is listening. I will never fly Southwest again. I want a reserved seat from now on. Sorry.
I'm the same way. I rarely fly Southwest.
That ruined my experience. Now, we're going to Vegas for the F1 race, and I'll be flying Southwest, but that's only an hour. If I'm in the middle seat sitting like this, I can do it for an hour.
Right.
But for a cross country or longer, I am never flying Southwest again.
Well, I had a post go viral last year because Taylor Swift gave the NYU commencement address, and she said that she gave it a Southwest Airlines tip. I guess her and her mom used to fly Southwest all the time.
Oh, that's so cute.
And she said that her tip was that her and her mom used to pretend they were fighting. And one would be in the window, one would be in the aisle. And so when people are walking by, they wouldn't take the middle seat. And so I wrote about it, and that thing went viral. You write about Taylor Swift, that thing goes.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? What is the deal there?
She is amazing.
I want you to start going out with Taylor Swift. It'd be very good for the network if you don't mind.
I told that to my wife. I was like, listen, and she didn't go for it. But
Okay.
but speaking of Taylor Swift, by the way, I just put in the show notes right before I got on, or the chat room. There's a tip about her.
Yes.
She just got off of a huge tour. Did you see her concert, by the way?
No. Did you?
No, I'd like to, actually. My wife really wants
The Eras tour? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she
3 hours. She sings for 3 hours.
Jason Howell and his
girl saw it and loved it. That's right. Yeah.
She did it in 53 different nights, 20 different locations. But the U.S. Travel Association said that she has the same power as when the Super Bowl comes into town.
Yeah.
Because Swifties average $1,300 a night in spending on travel, hotels, food.
Every place the Eras tour showed up, it was a huge economic boom to those locations. Isn't that amazing?
So I just wrote a post. Know her dates because she's about to go on her international tour starting this month. She's going to Argentina, then Brazil, then she's taking a break, and then she's going to 19 countries, 90 concerts around the world, from Zurich to Australia to Zurich.
I love this.
And you need to find out where she is, because if you happen to book tickets to that place and you have no desire to see her, good luck finding cheap accommodations. Hotels are massive. I mean, they hike them up. I just read an article the other day. Someone paid like $1,000 for a Hampton Inn.
Wow.
In like 20 miles away from the city. That's how much power she has.
Wow.
So
she's a kind of an amazing economic force, isn't she? You wouldn't think.
I don't think anyone's seen
You wouldn't think there would be anybody who could make the NFL more popular.
Right.
And yet,
that's exactly what happened.
It's incredible.
I have Mahomes on my team, my fantasy team, and my buddy has Kelsey. I said, well, is Taylor Swift at the game today? It's in Germany. It was in Germany this morning.
She didn't go to Frankfurt for this one.
And I Googled it, and she wasn't there. But sure enough, I mean.
But what's interesting, the NFL refuses to say whether she'll be there or not, right?
Of course
for
not.
Security reasons, we don't want anybody to think she might not be there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't think of it like that. But
Of course.
In the reverse.
They want people to show up. They want to tune in to see if she's there.
She is such a force. It's really
I Googled that to see if she was going to be there, and there were so many news stories, including by the AP. Is Taylor Swift in Germany for?
And I'm sure Travis Kelce is not dating Taylor Swift because he wants to improve jersey sales.
Of course not.
But they did become the number one jersey instantly on NFL.com.
Yeah. Did you see Mitt Romney, of all people, and his wife dressed up as Taylor Swift and the Chiefs player?
Please don't.
I did see that.
Please don't.
But I also saw
Better
Bill
than Johnny
Belichick playing football.
and Amber Heard.
Yes, true.
Yeah, and I could dress as Bill Belichick. You just cut the sleeves off your sweatshirt and you're done.
I don't know who that is.
Well, Bill Belichick he's a coach of the New England Patriots. He's like a hard.
Thank you.
A hard, you know what? And he commented on Taylor's performance. He goes, she danced for 3 hours in the pouring rain.
Oh yeah,
at Foxborough Stadium. He goes, I have respect for that woman like no one else.
She's not coasting by any means. This is an amazing, and that's why she's so beloved, I'm sure.
Definitely.
All right, so get ready. You have 18 days to Thanksgiving,
and then you should be booking Christmas too. If you haven't booked Christmas, the 22nd, the Friday before, is going to be is
that like the number 3 travel day of the year?
It's going to be one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your favorite airline, Johnny?
It all depends on where I'm going. Internationally, it's tough to beat the Middle East carriers like Qatar Airways.
I know, but I have, for religious reasons, I don't want to fly them. Not religious, but I just don't.
Right.
I kind of want to stay.
Cathay Pacific.
That would be Singapore Airlines, okay. Obviously. That's from China, right? Singapore. I've flown Singapore's Hong Kong. Okay. Singapore's amazing.
Yeah. Air New Zealand.
How about for domestic carriers?
I fly American a lot because they have a great frequent flyer program, but the best run airline in the U.S. is Delta.
My son says Delta. Yeah, he's a Delta guy.
Yeah, but they don't have a very good frequent flyer program, and I get free upgrades on my American often, so that's why I stick with them.
Do you? Some credit cards. I know you have some credit card sponsors, but some credit cards have airline points, right?
Oh, every airline has a credit card.
Right. Are those good credit cards or no?
If you fly them often and you want to get into their lounges and they offer access, then do it. If not, don't get it because their APR is way too high and you have to pay off these credit cards off in full every month. Never just pay the minimum because then you get a deep hole and it's tough to get out.
When I was a young man, I had, I think, $30,000 in credit card debt.
I was the same way. I was $25,000 in debt.
It's really easy.
Oh my God! When I got my first big speaking gig, I put all that money and paid off my credit card.
Yeah,
nice.
Because the interest rate's so high, you almost can never get out of that hole. You're paying so much in interest.
You're paying $200-$300 a month. Yeah. It's like it kills you.
It was a very good feeling when I finally get out from under all that debt. That was
100%
terrible thing.
Right,
Mr. Johnny Jet. Anything else?
Hey, I mean, how much time we got?
As we got all the time in the world.
Oh, yeah,
we've got some time.
How about how to quickly find Global Entry and Nexus and Sentry appointments?
Yes.
So you know all about Global Entry.
I have Global Entry.
Because Nexus is for Canada.
Right.
It's the same as and Sentry is for Mexico. So we talked about this many times, but this is how when you come back to the U.S. and your long immigration lines, you can just bypass them if you have Global Entry, but you have to be pre-approved. You have to pay $100. It's for 5 years. Certain credit cards, premium credit cards will cover it. So make sure if you do have one to pay for it with that card. But you can't get an appointment always. And I just ran into one of the parents at our school the other day saying, hey, I could not get a Global Entry appointment. And one of my friends is like, oh, I use this great app. And I go, my ears perked up. I just joined their conversation. I go, what app are you using? And they said, Appointment Scanner. So I went and checked it out. And sure enough, I actually wrote about it. They had my logo on their website. I totally forgot. But what they do...
Isn't that funny when somebody tells you about something and say, I got to try that out. Oh, I guess I did.
And then I remember I did write about it. So they charge $29 for 1 month of alerts, for 1 month paid alert. And they'll tell you, they send bots out and every few minutes you're going to get an email saying, hey, an appointment just opened up in LA or wherever.
The way I got my Global Entry was, and I don't know if they still do this. I was coming back from an international flight. And even though it was 1 a.m, I was able to do my interview then as I came back into the United States.
Yes, you can ask for that. But for Nexus, you can't. Okay. Nexus, they make it a lot more difficult because with Nexus, you need to meet with Canadian and U.S. at the same time. You might be able to, but it's difficult. And for Nexus appointments, they're usually around the border. So we had to go to Niagara Falls. A lot of the offices were closed in Canada. I think they just opened them back up, but it's really difficult to get an appointment.
Our own Patrick Delahente is telling an interesting story. He says, the annoying part of Global Entry is that when we were flying with our son when he was an infant, they wouldn't let us go through the Global Entry line because he didn't have Global Entry too, an infant. So we signed him up and he had to go to an interview. What did they ask him? Do you have any foreign?
Both my kids have it. They had to do the interview again for renewals.
What do they say to them?
They don't say anything to them.
Little Johnny,
they just want to make sure you're a parent.
How do you know how to make a Molotov cocktail?
Right. Like what?
He couldn't even speak. My son was 1 year old when he got it. He wasn't even 1. He was 8 months old when he got it.
They're interviewing the parents.
So
right?
Did they ask you questions then?
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So that's what they do. And you have to have both parents there. And it's actually a good idea. Because and actually when you use Clear is completely different, but it's for security in the US and actually concerts, certain stadiums you can use Clear. When we bring our kids through, they ask the kids questions. They don't even let us talk. They ask them all these different questions.
Did anybody ask you to carry anything in your bag?
No, they want to make sure who they are and if we're really their parents.
Do you know these people? Yeah, that's actually legitimate.
Yeah, but what if you have a kid that's a little chaotic? It's like, I have no idea who these people are.
Who are these people?
Well,
they're not my mommy and daddy.
You're not going somewhere. And what's interesting is they don't do it in LA, but at Newark Airport, they ask all the time. But here, they never ask here.
It's probably because some ports are more likely to have traffic.
I don't know. It should be universal that.
Yeah.
But and I also used another site. So there's multiple sites where they do this. I used one called globalentrynotif.com, and that's $20 for 30 days. And that's really only for Global Entry, not for Nexus. So if you're looking for Nexus, Sentry, and Global Entry, try this appointment scanner. There used to be a great bot on Twitter that was free, but you know who messed that up. And they don't do it anymore.
NOTIF, global entry, NOTIF.com.
Yes.
Johnny Jet. Everybody should follow Johnny. That's where you should go, johnnyjet.com, where you can learn all about all of this. I mean, who else would tell you not to book travel to a Taylor Swift city? Nobody but Johnny. johnnyjet.com. His newsletters are free, johnnyjet.com/newsletter. He's also on YouTube, Instagram, X.
Yeah, I just interviewed Rick Steves this week.
Oh, I love
Do you know Rick Steves?
I don't
PBS?
know him. I interviewed him, I think, many years ago when I was on radio, but I don't really remember much. But I love Rick. I've always bought his books and watched his videos, and he seems like a sweet guy. Is he a sweet guy?
I traveled with him multiple times. We speak at a lot of the same conferences. He is. He's just, he's down to earth. And I was like, what's surprising about him is that he's like, I don't sign up for freaking flyer programs. He goes, I could care less. I have enough money. I don't need to try and get a free seat. I'm like, whoa, Rick, you can at least donate the miles. Sign up. It takes
I'll take
literally
miles,
a
Rick.
minute.
Take your miles, Rick. Hey, thank you, Johnny.
Thanks so much.
Hey,
have a great Thanksgiving.
holiday.
Safe
You too.
travels.
See you next
You
month.
too. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.
Oh, I love that. We should take a little time out, and when we come back, I think one more call before we wrap this up. What do you say?
I agree. Here.
Where?
There.
What does hear mean? I think it means hear him. So it should be HEAR. Hear.
I'll have to look into that.
I think it means hear him. Hear me. Who should I talk? Actually, hear John Ashley.
Yeah.
Who should I talk to?
I'm going to pick up one of our phone callers. He's been hanging out for quite a while.
Yeah, somebody very patient.
I want to pick up on, I'm assuming, Paul.
Paul? All right. Paul, *6 to unmute. We're going to put you in the Zoom room, and then you may speak.
Hello?
Hey, Paul, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville. And is it Paul?
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes the first name is another name on the account. We see your caller ID. Well, welcome, Paul. I love Louisville. What can I do for you?
I've got my speakerphone on. Is that
Yeah, you sound good.
problem?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, I have a Samsung Chromebook that I bought new in 2017, and it reached its end of life. And I decided to put on this to enable this thing called Lacros. Are you familiar with that? LACROS. What it is that it's a way to separate the Chrome browser from the Chrome OS. So you still get updates to this.
This is something new. It's a new project I'm not familiar with. It comes from the Chromium people, so I mean it's still a Google thing. Does it turn it into a Linux box? Is that kind of what happens?
No. In fact, I was trying to do that, and I was trying to, let's say, run Linux on this like a full distro, and it was going to be too complicated, and possibly I could brick it. So I found out about this thing that's really easy.
So let me explain what Lacros is. So for a couple of things to say. First of all, even Google says, just because your Chromebook is not going to get security patches anymore doesn't mean it's unusable. Chrome will probably continue to get updated for some time. And then that's why they have Lacros. The idea of Lacros is you're going to stop using the Chrome browser that comes with Chrome OS and start using the Linux version of the Chrome browser, which will be updated eternally, forever. So that really solves 90% of any security issues you might have. I mean, if you were a spy working for the CIA, I might not recommend it. But if you're just a normal person, that Chromebook is going to be fine. So Lacros will just give you an up-to-date browser, basically.
That was the reason that the security issues is what I wanted to talk to you about. I was wondering, you have said for quite a while that you shouldn't use the Bitwarden extension and use the app. Well, I think
it's fine on Chrome OS to use that. And in fact, I've never said you shouldn't. But the people who said that actually were the folks at Chrome, at Google, specifically the 0-day people at Google. And it's a theoretical threat. Any browser extension, if it's malicious, can be dangerous because it has access to all sorts of stuff. And so if you got a malicious Bitwarden extension or LastPass or 1Password or anything, all the password managers have browser extensions. In theory, it could be risky. But if you make sure that you're getting the extension from Bitwarden or 1Password or LastPass or whoever, you're probably fine. There would have to be a significant attack to take advantage of that. In theory, the safest thing to do would be use the app and not use a browser extension. In practice, it's fine to use a browser extension. To my knowledge, there's never been an issue with anybody's browser extension, and certainly not Bitwarden's. So that was, Tavis Ormandy, who is the guy who works at Google to find the 0 days, his answer was use the Chrome password manager, which I thought was a terrible answer. But it's good for Google. It requires that you use Chrome. There are some, in my mind, some question marks about Chrome's own security. For a long time, Chrome kept the passwords in clear text. I don't think his solution was better. But he did raise an important point, and it's certainly, Steve Gibson and I have talked about this. It's probably wise to be aware of that and make sure you are careful when you install the password extension. I don't think there is there a Chrome app on Chromebook? A Bitwarden app on Chromebook? I think there isn't. I think it's only on Windows and Mac and Linux. Because of the way Chromebook works, you can't run a standalone app. You can only run an extension to the browser. So that's the only thing you're going to be able to do anyway.
I thought I did use I usually use Bitwarden on my laptop, Linux laptop.
Yeah, and then you can use the app.
I thought I had. Yeah, I do there, but so anyway.
Maybe if you're using a Bitwarden app, it's on the Chrome Web Store.
Yeah, I see that now.
But I don't think that's really.
It's really just the extension.
An
right?
app. I think it's the same. It's mostly JavaScript, so I think that it's the same. It has the same issues, frankly.
Well, let me ask you a question about continuing just to use this. I'm still looking at the message at the end in my settings, and it says for my Chromebook, security updates have ended, upgrade your device. Now, that would for me would be just restarting and resetting. Do I really have to reset it if I'm always afraid I'm going to mess something up? Is it a security risk to just keep this as it is? To keep my Chromebook.
No, it's fine. I mean, at some point, you might want to get a new Chromebook. Google's taken a lot of heat for this, especially from schools that bought Chromebooks, and 5 years later they're no longer supported. And I think they're going to offer longer support terms from now on. Nevertheless, they even said when they announced that, it's not like suddenly you're wide open. You're still pretty secure. I think you're fine. In fact, I'd be fine to use it for banking and so forth. I mean, if you want to use your Linux machine for the most critical things like banking, and then the Chromebook is fine for everything else. The real problem, the real reason it's safe is you can't do anything to a Chromebook.
Right. Well, now that they've got this separate browser, it makes it,
that solves the biggest.
Easier.
Yeah, that's the number one issue.
Smart choice.
Yeah.
It's separate because they were saying that the Chrome, the updates when you were using the OS were not as frequent,
right,
as a regular browser. And now that I've got this browser, I notice get updates.
You get every new version.
Quickly, but
you only on Chrome OS get a browser update when you get a Chrome OS update. They're hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But I got a question.
Go ahead.
Can I get one more question in?
Sure, of course.
I got a similar situation with my Pixel 4a, and it shows that the last security update was in August, but curiously they had this Google Play Systems update in October.
Right.
Now, I'm guessing that there are not going to be any. I think I've looked up, and there's not going to be any more updates for security on the 4A.
That's correct.
And I was thinking about going to the 6A, which is relatively cheap. Is that a good choice?
I think so. 6A, or look at the 7A. The 8A will be coming out in a few months. Get the most recent one you can afford. Google did say when they released the Pixel 8 that they were going to have 7 years of updates. So the thing to understand is, as with most operating systems, there's a feature update, which is Android 13 to 14, that kind of thing. And then there's a security update, which come out monthly. You've had your last security update. You're not going to get a feature update, and you've just had your last security update. But they also update. They have the store has some security features. In fact, they just announced increased scanning in the store. So you still are getting some security. And when they update the various Google little bits and pieces that are in the store, you're getting updates to those too. But Android is different than Chrome OS. Android is much more a target and much easier to hack. And so I think security updates on Android are pretty darn important. So I would probably recommend getting a new phone.
I'm thinking about using that Mint Mobile. There
you go.
I think they've got a plan where you can buy that from them.
Yeah, our sponsors. Yep, they're a good company and they're cheap, and they offer, I think, inexpensive new phones. Is there an advantage of the 55 and plus plan? I'm trying to see a difference in that. Can you give me a brief description? I don't know off the top of my head because I should be doing it, shouldn't I? They recently added that. They were so affordable, I didn't really even look at the older plans. I should look at it. I don't know anything about it. I am over 55 myself, and if there's an advantage, I should probably take advantage of it.
12-month, $15 a month. If you pay $180.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah,
from them they give you like $dollars off. So
exclusive plan for seniors. I think they have better support mostly. Is what I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the same deal, but they're giving you additional support. Free Mint Tech Advisor Service, full service activation, transfer. Yeah, they're giving you is better support.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great.
That's good. That's nice.
Well,
that's who needs support, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's us old folks. That's why I have Micah here.
Can I squeeze one little quickie in?
Sure.
Just one. Just okay. When I travel, I use my last trip. What I did was I have Proton-free VPN I used on my phone, the Google Pixel.
Yep.
And what I did was I tethered that to my Chromebook. And so I was wondering if I have the Proton running, the VPN running on my phone, the Pixel, is it safe to tether that to my Chromebook?
You'll be still going through the VPN through the Pixel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Well, I thought I'd check with you.
Yep.
Well, Leo, thanks
That's
a lot,
and
I appreciate all your help.
Hey, it's a real pleasure talking to you. And I know I appreciate your interest in staying safe. I think that's great.
Yeah, I've called you several times, and I'm usually I'm kind of like paranoid about security.
Don't paralyze yourself with security, but I think you're smart to be paying attention to it. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Leo.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good to talk to you.
Bye.
Bye, Paul. That is our last call.
It is indeed the last call.
And that means it's time to say... You know the story of that song?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You told me about it.
I did.
A baby.
Yeah. I always thought it was interesting because I thought it was like, hey, the bar's closing. You're going to... Which of these fine young ladies you taking home? Has nothing to do with that. Nope. Anyway, that's a story for another day. You can Google it. We are done. I do hope you will join Club Twit. That is so important to us going forward. It's how we finance this show and every show we do because, unfortunately, advertising has started to dwindle and most of the shows are not making money. Well, if you give us $7, I can promise you an ad-free experience for everything, plus shows we don't put out anywhere else, plus all the wonderful stuff that happens in the Discord, plus stuff that happens before and after every show. It is just a bonus, but the best thing, the warm, fuzzy feeling you get in the pit of your stomach knowing that you're spending that $7 to help us continue to do this stuff we love to bring you, and I hope you love to listen to. Thank you to all our Club Twit members. Twit.tv/Club Twit. Everything is there. Read the FAQ for information if you have any difficulty joining the Discord or downloading the shows. It's all there. Micah made a nice video. Twit.tv/Club Twit.
Indeed. And if you want to get in touch with us during the week, you can do that in a couple of ways. You can call the phone number 888-724-2884 to leave a voicemail, or you can email us atg@twit.tv. You could send audio or video in that email if you'd like, or just text, and we will get that and be able to answer your question. During the show, when we record it at whatever time it happens to be where you are, it's certainly around about 11 a.m. Pacific to somewhere around 1:30 to 1:40 p.m. Pacific.
Basically, it's 11:30 to 1:30. Let's just admit it, right?
Yes. Then you can call us during the show at 888-724-2884 or head to call.twit.tv in your browser to be connected to the Zoom call and be brought up on the stage to ask your question.
We love having your questions. You can also email ATG. If you email atg@twit.tv, put a video in there or an audio in there, right? Then we get a richer experience of your question. Michael will be back Tuesday with iOS Today, and of course Thursday with Tech News Weekly. I will be back Tuesday with MacBreak Weekly and Security Now. I hope you will join us then. In the meantime, on behalf of Micah Sargent, I'm Leo Laporte. Say it with me now. Have a great geek week. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Rod Pyle, Editor-in-Chief of Ad Magazine, and each week I join with my co-host to bring you This Week in Space, the latest and greatest news from the final frontier. We talk to NASA chiefs, space scientists, engineers, educators, and artists, and sometimes we just shoot the breeze over what's hot and what's not in space, books, and TV. And we do it all for you, our fellow true believers. So whether you're an armchair adventurer or waiting for your turn to grab a slot in Elon's Mars rocket, join us on This Week in Space and be part of the greatest adventure of all time.